from the new day. Give me that whole yeah. Give it to me. I need it.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to the Gimme a Whole Yeah Wrestling Podcast. My name is Anne, and today I'm joined by none other than Dann Read. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Cheers for having us. It feels like this was the natural next progression.
It was always going to happen.
Consistently invading your chat anyway.
And me invading yours as well, man. Awesome. For those of you that don't know Dan, he's a wrestling promoter of Eve Pro Wrestling, also works with XWA and has worked in the wrestling industry for 20 years. He's done stuff with Ring of Honor, is that right? Lots of stuff in Japan. So...
pretty much work for everyone, to be honest with you.
He's the go-to guy.
I'm old now.
He's the go-to guy in Britain for wrestlers to get in contact with for work and all sorts of stuff. So thank you so much for joining us. It's great, and I hope that people have got some cool questions for Dan as we sort of go. We've got Jack in chat, we've got Dom in chat, we've got Sarah and Kida. Sarah's changed her name. Hope all is going well, dudes. How's your day been, Dan?
It's been a day. It's been happening. That's literally it. That's literally all I can go through. It's just one of those days where you're just suddenly like, what's the time? Sorry, how is it this late already? So,
have you had a nap today to get through this tonight?
No. The wrestling business has been very good on affording me the ability to not need sleep.
Wow.
So
I don't know if that's good, man. I don't know if that's a positive or not.
I'm 38 years old. I've already had a heart attack. I've already had a stroke.
Gee, well, that's not good, man.
If I make it to 50, I'll have done well.
You'll have done very well, man. That's what being in the wrestling business for 20 years does. So no, I to be honest with you, I think watching an episode of Raw stresses me out than anything else that I do in wrestling. Oh, tell me about it, man.
Watching Smackdown should be pretty easy comparatively.
Yeah, it should be, man. It's been really good recently, actually. However, Dom's thrown me in the crap because Dom's got a doctor's appointment on Tuesday morning. I mean, I say I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to start it. And if it's really bad, stream's getting cut off.
If it's really bad, it's like it's going to be a rarity if it's not, man.
I know, right? I know. And at what point do I say that's enough? I've had enough.
Exactly. Like, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things, isn't it? I did a watch party for I forget what the show was, but I just remember being like halfway through and going, I fucking regret it. I flipping regret this. I'm working on the swearing. I regret this so much.
Yeah,
but
man.
Because I'm doing the watch party, I'm just like, you committed to it. You got to see it through. And it's literally, it was the only thing that got me through was literally having the people in the chat. And, I think you'll back me up on this is when
absolutely
wrestling is designed to be watched. You can watch it by yourself, of course you can. You watch anything by yourself, but the reason why watch parties and meetups at the pubs for watching things and getting around each other's houses happen, and that's because it's at its best when you've got each other to talk about, whether it be you're laughing with it, laughing at it, enjoying it, or hating it. If
absolutely.
You've got somebody else to bounce off of it and in the case of Raw, suffer through with it, then it makes it a lot easier. And that's the only thing that got me through. If I hadn't been doing that watch party, I've never got through an episode of Raw. No chance. So,
well, we'll see how that goes on Monday.
It was actually a pay-per-view. So we had to do the bloody 1 hour pre-show and then the 3 hour pay-per-view. And I'm like, 4 hours of WWE.
So you're doing WrestleMania this year, right?
Oh, man.
I mean, we've never done one.
7 hours anymore.
I know, 2 nights.
It was before.
I know, 2 nights, man.
Like, it's a lot easier over 2 nights, though. 3 hours, or was it 2.5 hours or something? It wasn't as...
I don't know. It's about 3 hours, I think. But it was broken up by the cinematic matches and stuff like that this year, so it was actually quite engaging all the way through. But I'm the same, man. Normally, WrestleMania is like an opportunity to go to pub. Up north, we don't really have many opportunities. Who is it that runs it? It's a tribal bar. I can't remember the name of the company. They do it all over the UK. They do it in London as well.
Yeah, I do. I know who you mean. When they were running the Chelmsford ones, I was doing the Hooked on Wrestling parties. Yeah,
Hooked on Wrestling. That's the one, man.
I was the host of the Chelmsford ones.
Right, so, cool, man.
And that was fine because do you know what I mean? Number one, I'm getting paid.
Yeah,
that's
bonus.
always a bonus. You know, if you want me to watch WWE, you pay me. That's a good way for me to do it normally, you know.
Which is how we got Dan on the stream today. It's all of your super chats that don't exist on the channel yet. We've put it all towards getting Dan.
But yeah, so it's literally, that was the hooked on things was just like a way to get through. Plus, I'm literally am working when doing it. Like it's they're actually pretty. I don't want to say stressful because they're fun, but you're keeping to quite a tight, you know, time schedule. And also,
Absolutely.
if there's any drama in the venues, it's on you because Hooked On have basically done a deal with the venue, but you're running it, so you're effectively like the person that's running the whole venue that night.
Right.
So you've got eyes and ears everywhere. Do you know what I mean? You're keeping on top of everything. And if there's one thing that goes down, which there was, I think it was the SummerSlam party that I did there once, like there was a dodgy connection. And so even though the dodgy connection wasn't anything to do with me, I could literally just feel the burning of everyone's eyes. Like, this son of a, it's stopping. He is incompetent.
Wow.
And I'm like, it's not my internet. It's not.
Mate,
it's just like, no, it is you.
The
it's
first
you.
one we went,
know,
they didn't even have the
lying.
skybox set up.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, but there we go.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But it's nice to, like you say, it's nice to, because we don't often have a chance to go to the pub and watch wrestling. So it's a really nice opportunity for that. But, you know, the world sort of stopped that at the minute anyway. Yeah. I'm going to go.
This year, and it's only January still.
I know, man. I know. And you're trying to like run shows and they're getting cancelled. And Jesus, man.
Yeah. No, that's the one thing. It's like, you know, we were literally, as you know, from, you know, joining some of the streams, we were literally scheduled to do a show, to do like a no fans taping on the day. Well, it was like on a Sunday, and it was the Saturday when Boris came on and said, we're going into lockdown as of midnight tonight.
I know.
So it was like, oh no, I don't think it was lockdown. It was when he said places that are going into tier 4.
Tier 4, it was, yeah, the London one.
Yeah, and so of course a load of the talent were in London, and although we weren't filming in London, it was just like, well, you know, the talent can't travel and people can't travel. It was just, you know, and even though could have been a bit naughty, I just didn't think it was worth it. Because at the end of the day, this is a serious virus.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
I don't want to, if it's that bad, you know, even with any kind of testing going on, at the end of the day, you know, people could have been asymptomatic or whatever, or just traveling in a car. And that's the other thing, you know, if they get down and they travel in a car and they get down and it turns out that, you know, we can't let them in because, you know, someone's got a fever and whatnot, or a high temperature or whatever, then you've lost 4 people that have traveled down together, you know?
Yeah.
And we could only film, the way we were doing it was in blocks of 4 anyway. So it's just like, and then we were literally doing it as blocks of 4 and one ref. Those people would only come into contact with one another. They'd be checked for everything to make sure it was all safe for them to go in. They would film their matches, and then we would, they would leave at the end. We would then disinfect, clean, do everything.
Yeah.
You know,
all
and then
ropes.
the next block of people would come in for their scheduled shift. They would film their matches, and you know.
There we go, guys. Some insight from a promoter who's trying to put on events during a difficult time, man. That's fascinating, and I'm sure we'll get loads more insight as we sort of go through. I want to make sure I get to chat a little bit because you guys are the reason we are here. We've got 13 people watching. Thank you so much. If you could like the video, it really helps people know that you're watching and enjoying this. Subscribe to the channel for more wrestling watch-alongs and other wrestling content. And also support Eve. Eve do wonderful free wrestling. The stream last night was insanely good, Dan. I loved it, with Dan of talking about different wrestling matches within both Eve, but also XWA and also Go To Move Pro Wrestling with Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, Thunder Rosa. It was a freaking awesome stream, man. I loved it.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Really loved it.
The benefit of doing shows for 20 years is I got a lot of footage. So, you know.
And a lot of friends, my dude. A lot of friends. Jack says he slept 4 times today, and Sarah's had 2 half-hour naps. Jesus, wow.
You guys just trying to make us jealous?
Mate, I got a new mattress yesterday. My mattress is banging.
What match? Who did you go with?
Otty.
This is going to be interesting for the wrestling people.
Otty.
Who?
Otty. O-T-T-Y.
Oh, I don't know them. We've got to get a new, right? We just got a, it wasn't on purpose, but we just got a new Eve mattress and we're hating it.
Really?
And it's like $1,000 as well, but we managed to get a deal and we know someone that works there. Eve and Eve working together. Who knew it?
Wow.
But it's literally just so freaking solid. So the wife and I, we're literally like, we've got to return it. They have 100-day guarantee, and you can send it back. So we're like, we've got to find one that's soft.
Got to use it.
So we're on the lookout for a mattress. There you go. This is exactly what everybody tuning in for their SmackDown watch along want. Let us know in the chat.
What mattress are you sipping on?
It's good for me to know this. Okay, so if you want to help me along here, let us know what mattress, and is it any good?
That's why Dan comes for like mattress talk. It is.
It is exactly. A friend of mine that works in porn, she calls herself a mattress actress, and I love that term. I think that's tremendous.
That's a freaking awesome term, man. Mate, I don't know if this would be any good for that because it is quite dulling. There's no spring back. You'd have to put more work in it. But we'll see what happens.
Well, our one's like freaking concrete. There's no return. It doesn't help you along, if you know what I'm saying. It doesn't help you along.
There's no rhythm that you can find.
No.
Thanks.
Plus, my head was nearly hitting the flipping chandelier as well. And so, anyway.
Welcome to the wrestling stream, where we are now talking about mattresses and porn stars. And mate, it's going to be a good one. I can tell. I have an angsty little lady waiting for wrestling. This is going to be interesting seeing her reaction. Awesome, Sarah. Thanks for getting someone else to join in the party with us. Hi, dude. Welcome. How you doing? Nice to see you, man. This is Eve Pro Wrestling. Dann Read. Please check out your channel. We'll be doing a watch along of Wrestle Queendom this week, whenever that happens. So come and hang out with us for that, man. Positive proof that Raw hurts your health, mate. I'm terrified about it, dude. I'm terrified. I nearly didn't show up today. I had an alarm set and I forgot. 2-night manias are the way forward. Yes, they are. It wouldn't be the same if you didn't make it. Oh, Sarah, Jake's joined us. Hey up, Jake. Futuristic Gamer, Jack Little, the best. Jack, you're the better moderator on the Wrestle Story than Ant. Screw you. Millie's welcome. Millie's one from Eve's channel.
Hey, Millie. Millie's great. I know I've told the story as well, but when the wrestlers know you by name, even though you know you're elsewhere and you kind of attend the shows, you know that person's loved, and Millie's loved by everyone. So it's
there.
Great.
We go. Well, welcome to the channel, Millie. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you can pick Dan's brain tonight. James Bain, welcome, my dude. Anything about Brock Lesnar?
Well, I mean, I assume that they're setting up Lashley for him. I assume that's been the purpose for rebuilding Lashley the way they have. I was surprised that they had him, even though it was a fluke loss a few weeks ago on Raw. That was the first time that his shoulders have laid down. That kind of told me that maybe the Brock match isn't happening as early as they were anticipating.
So you think Brock and Lashley Mania?
I mean, I was assuming Brock and Lashley was the Mania match. Yeah, I mean, there's no they've protected Lashley to a Brock Lesnar level, and they kind of bullsed up. There was always the plan to get to Brock and Lashley, and every time they were about to like get to it next, they realized that they hadn't built Lashley up enough.
Right.
So then they just kept putting it back and back and back and back. And now I think that this is when they're like, okay, you know, we've got to rebuild Lashley, which they did because he meant nothing. You know, he was just another guy, and they had to effectively do what they did with Drew, because Drew was another guy that was just being fed to Roman Reigns. Everyone at that point was being fed to Roman. I think Lashley and Drew, weren't they at some point like teaming up against? I know there was a crossing when those matches were happening. So, but yeah, I assume that was the plan. Whether or not that still is, I don't know, but it was the most logical place to go because that was always their intention to do that match.
It's
Why
a money
else
match.
would you protect Lashley? Yeah, if built correctly, the two MMA guys fighting in WWE absolutely is.
Absolutely makes sense. I'm just going to pause you there 1 second, Dan. We are on the Then, Now, Forever. I'll let you know as soon as the Forever hits up so you can know how far we are behind on the stream. And that's the Forever right there. So we are going into Smackdown. Are you ready for a good time, Dan?
I'm ready for a WWE time. Let's not get ahead of ourselves too much. Smackdown is usually better than Raw, and a big thank you, by the way, to Sarah for the mattress advice there as well, saying what she has.
Ooh,
so
Dreams mattress.
Yeah,
there you go, man.
I got a question, right? So
go.
I haven't been watching SmackDown on a regular basis. I pay attention to reviews. I listen to some podcasts about it, right? So I got a question, and that is, has there been something go on between Cesaro and Nakamura?
No.
Have they split them up?
It just sort of happened out of nowhere where Shinsuke suddenly turned face during this gauntlet match last week.
Because there was no mention of Cesaro either.
No.
Like, and I was just there, it's like, there's there's fucking flipping. We'll cut out the swearing. Apologies to anyone that's got some youngsters there watching. Right? I'm
It's
doing
all
my
good, Dan.
best.
It's all good, my dude. You're doing great.
But they just like there's Nakamura, and he turns and he beats Rey Mysterio, who was fresh, and he beats Sami Zayn in like 30 seconds or something. He beats Baron Corbin. That's the match that turns him baby. And then he beats a fresh Daniel Bryan, all
Which
clean.
was really cool, man.
Daniel Bryan shakes him by the hand. That solidifies as well that Shinsuke's baby now.
Yep.
And then like he leaves. There's no mention of Cesaro whatsoever during commentary, from what I heard. Not one bit.
No.
And then, so why didn't they make that's one of WWE's weird things where it's just don't mention him. It's like, why? It's logical.
This is what's happening.
He is getting beaten up.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan's shaking his hand, going, yeah, no, I respect you. You've beaten all three. You beat me and I was fresh. I respect you. I'm going to leave now. Because there's two other dudes coming down. They're totally going to ruin you, and I don't want to be here for that and get myself involved. I'm a good guy, honest. I'm a babyface. Swear to God, I'm a babyface. I ain't helping you out in any of that. Cesaro's back there, like, what's going on with Shinsuke?
Nothing. Nothing with Cesaro.
He's fine.
But dude, like, why didn't they just put him in the gauntlet match? Like, you could have had that whole story be told in like a couple of minutes with the fact that they had to fight each other.
Well, I'm assuming if he wasn't at the tapings, he could be one of the people that's not able to be there right now.
Maybe so.
It might not be. I'm assuming because they don't like mentioning people if they haven't gotten an idea for it. But it's insulting to everybody else because it's like we're all thinking, where's Cesaro? We're all thinking Cesaro's going to come out and help him. We're all thinking those things. And when the commentators don't even have the ability, because it's not their fault, they're just saying what they're being told to say.
Yeah.
But when the commentators don't even have the ability to reference something that we as a viewer are thinking and wondering, it insults our intelligence. All I'm asking for is a little bit of logic here.
It's not. It shouldn't be a lot to ask.
I realise that's a big question and a big ask for WWE, but it's really all I'm asking. Okay, we've got the head of the table. Here we go.
Here he is. Let's see. Millie Carden says, this is brand new info for me and Dan, and I definitely hope I have a good rep with everyone. I seriously needed to hear that. Oh, bless you, man. You do. Some positive vibes for you, Millie. I don't even know you, but positive vibes, dude. So this is a contract for the Rumble signing.
WWE's really get ahead of themselves with their imagination for quality t-shirt designs nowadays, don't they?
There's a font there.
Yeah, there is.
Okay, so we're getting controversy around the contract signing. That match isn't happening at Mania, is it, Dan?
What, Reigns and Adam Pearce?
Not Mania, Rumble.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, we're all going to find out what their intentions for Nakamura is tonight, not to mention Owens, because it could be that they're just building up multiple people so that the Elimination Chamber match has a number of, people in it for it, or it could be that, there is an intention to do. But we know that we've got Jey Uso versus Nakamura, and it looks like they're actually starting off the show with that now.
Awesome. I'm
or at
a
least
massive
Uso
Nakamura
coming
fan.
to the ring.
Yeah, I'm a massive Nakamura fan. Loved his stuff in New Japan as well, Wrestle
He's
Kingdom
a dude
match.
as well. I've had the pleasure of hanging with him a few times, and he's an absolute dude. Real nice guy.
What are they doing with the camera work there? That was nice.
I didn't see it. What did
they had
do?
so there was using a manual focus, so Jey Uso was in shot, but everything behind him was out of focus, completely. But it looked really
like me right now.
Exactly like Dan. Clearly, they've come onto the podcast, seen Dan, and thought, "Look, we're gonna use that effect." But it looked really dynamic. Actually, it looked really good.
I do like the idea, and I don't know if that's what they're doing with this, but of actually presenting all the brands in a different way. So that they all feel, because I think, one of the big issues with WWE is that there's so much content that it just feels, and because it's the same writers for the most point, It just feels like same shit, different performers.
I agree with you completely, but actually I'd take it further, and the pay-per-views especially need to feel special, and they don't at the minute, you know, and putting a few ladders around the ring isn't special. Like, if you go back to the sort of great days of wrestling, that sort of 97, 98, 99, like every pay-per-view looked and felt different, you know?
Just, you don't know, Jack, just, you know, put a good point there. It comes back to the consistency and the logic. WWE insists on contracts for main events, but no other matches. Yeah, all the other matches can happen just on the fly. You know, although legally, if it's agreed, you know, that is a verbal contract and that will stand up in court.
There we go.
So
there we go.
One
if
could
you
argue
agree
that there's that
on screen, yeah. Scott's mentioned something really interesting. The camera angle is from NFL on Fox. Interesting, man. Interesting. So I wonder if
Scott
they're
also
getting...
says, "Hey, how can I take Jey Uso so seriously when he can't win a match? Has he not been winning any matches? I thought they gave him like a big run of wins.
Well, they give him wins, but it's always been with the help of Roman, I think.
That's WWE's 101 for any heel, sadly.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, we are joined tonight by Dann Read, a wrestling promoter for Eve Pro Wrestling, as well as XWA, and worked in multiple wrestling companies across the world, basically. Like, any questions that you want to have, like, about promoting or the way that things are booked, like, Dan's your man to ask, man. He's got some really great stories.
Thank you. Very kind of you to say.
That's all right, my dude. Well, like I say, I love, and please subscribe to Eve Wrestling. The links are all in the description. But, like, honestly, last night's stream is the best wrestling stream I've seen of this year. It was fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. It was just, I always, it's nice to do some bits like that because people don't realize just a different kind of wrestling that's out there, and also the people that they know and love and are fans of doing different things as well. I always think that, you know, versatility is key, and variety is key within wrestling.
Absolutely.
Oh, here we go. He's actually name dropping Shinsuke.
There we go.
Were they trying to recreate Kofi from last year with Shinsuke in the gauntlet?
It would have made more sense with Big E if they were doing that.
No, yeah, but would that have seemed too obvious?
Maybe so, but in terms of people want Big E to have a push at the minute, and they've just put him in that Intercontinental. I think there's a slow, you know, idea there. There's also the possibility they're just trying to keep an eye on him because Big E does have a rep for not being afraid to be outspoken at times, even though he's really liked there. But yeah, right, okay, interesting. And you call me futuristic gamer. I'm no longer futuristic gamer. You are whole year futuristic. You are our crazy futuristic, my dude. Millie, when was the last time there's been actual logic in WWE? Well, I will give them this to the credit. Like, the only reason the Shinsuke thing happened last week, and Shinsuke is like one of the best talents in WWE, in my opinion, was because they've done a really good job of building up Roman Reigns. And I think that is one thing that they are doing really well, like the Roman Reigns sort of angle at the minute. Mike Cavalier, hello. Welcome, my dude. So far, we're going to see Goldberg versus McIntyre and Roman versus Pearce at Royal Rumble. Not looking good so far.
No, it doesn't. I've got no problems with the Goldberg-McIntyre match, personally.
Neither do I, because it's 5 minutes of my life that I...
Yeah, and I really have no... I don't know how they'll get into it, but it's just like, you know, I've no doubt that that match is being used more to set up whatever Goldberg's doing at Mania, more than...
Well, that's interesting, actually. We'll talk about this after we've listened to what Shinsuke said. He's puppy! Jey Uso is the puppy. Brilliant.
You could go one step further and say a bitch.
Absolutely.
What, you know?
But it's better to say puppy, Dan.
Puppy.
It's better. Everyone says bitch in wrestling. Like,
yeah, that's true.
It's
just that it would actually work verbally being what a bitch is. You know? So it'd be the one time where they could actually use it and justifiably. But you're right. The bit that you're just a little bitch is the go-to thing constantly for WWE writers.
Of course it is. It's what the TV will allow them. So what I was going to talk to you briefly about Goldberg. I'm even saying Goldberg now. That's chat's influence. Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre. Is Goldberg winning that?
I don't think so.
But if they're looking at doing Goldberg versus Roman at Mania, which could be what they're going for.
I mean, I don't see. This is the thing. Generally, the way to book or to have a better idea of booking and seeing where companies are going isn't to guess the results of this show, but it's to see what they're left with after this show. And so we know that we're a WrestleMania season, and we have to think of those big matches that they think will actually get, because this is an important time for them. They have to hit big numbers this time of year, because everyone knows that this is where there's always the big drop after Mania.
Yeah.
So, and the stockholders, the shareholders, the investors, they're all expecting big numbers around this time of year. So WWE need to make sure that they're able to put on something, because yes, the WrestleMania name will carry them so far, but they need to make sure they've got something to go with and bring some of those other people back. And when you think about what matches do we really have available for Mania that scream WrestleMania, there aren't really that many.
No.
There's no way The Rock is going to wrestle. Well, I say there's no way. I mean, there's a way, but I highly doubt The Rock is going to wrestle a match.
No, I don't think so.
In front of no fans.
No.
The only way I could see them potentially getting around that was if they were to do a cinematic style match between him and Roman Reigns. Okay. And if you don't take The Rock out, then you're really only left with Goldberg, because most of the old names of years gone by are now very old names, with the exception of John Cena. And, so will they be able to bring Cena back, and what would be there? And at which point do you do Cena versus Roman? I mean, we have seen it before, but not in this guise, not in this format. No. So that's possible. Or could you do Cena v. Drew? But
I think that's... Sorry, I think that's people's concern with Royal Rumble, because you're putting Drew and Goldberg together. If they are looking at doing Drew and Roman at Goldberg and Roman at WrestleMania, it makes no sense for him to lose that match, because then Roman beating him at WrestleMania doesn't have as much impact.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tough one, without a doubt, and it does feel like WWE have booked themselves into a corner by going straight to Drew versus, Goldberg. But then again, maybe Goldberg and Roman isn't the way. Maybe they've got... I mean, the thing is, who else is there on the Smackdown brand? It's very difficult to...
Well, they've got the potential of Kevin Owens. I mean, that they could definitely do something with that, but they just won't.
I just don't see them going from a B pay-per-view like TLC to then in December to then them to main event, and it's... I mean, don't get me wrong, WWE do backwards booking. We know this. We've seen numerous matches where it starts with a TLC match and then it's followed up with a singles match, and it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But I just don't see them doing that for Mania.
No,
that's one of the reasons why I hate these themed pay-per-views of TLC and Hell in a Cell, is I think you dilute the bitterness or the importance of the feud. Because
absolutely,
if they hadn't already diluted them, one could say, well, yeah, but maybe they're going to do Reigns and Kevin Owens in Hell in a Cell, except we know that they don't do that.
No.
Unless it's October.
No. But that's the thing.
Apparently that Hell in a Cell has to stay in storage until October.
Which is ridiculous. And then you get stuff like Sasha and Bayley, which was built up, one of the best build-up of the feuds over last year, who sort of carried the brand over the sort of COVID era, really, on both shows, doing wonderful stuff. And then the first big match is in Hell in a Cell.
I know, absolutely ridiculous. I just said, Scott Frame says Charlotte Flair versus Ric Flair. Not a chance in hell.
Woo!
That's an excellent match. And to be fair, I wouldn't disagree. I don't disagree with him saying not a chance in hell neither. Because I don't want to see 70-year-old. Is he 70 now?
Probably. He's on his way, man. But he's been in bad health as well, which is why I'm not really happy about WWE bringing him in as well during this sort of bizarre time. Hello, Janelle. Welcome. Hello, Janelle and Jamel. If Roman Reigns is Scooby-Doo, then does that make Jey Uso Scrappy Dappy Doo Puppy Power? Absolutely. That's why I love Shinsuke doing it. Man, we never got Shinsuke Brock in WWE.
No, I don't think. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean that Shinsuke and Brock is the kind of match in WWE's mind, a lot like AJ Styles and Brock or Daniel Bryan and Brock. That's kind of like your Survivor Series or Royal Rumble style title match. You know?
Yeah.
That's the reason why I wouldn't be surprised if Shinsuke is actually the person against Roman at Rumble. Is they have a habit of putting that upper mid card guy in the title match at the Rumble because that's not the main event. The Rumble is the main event. So you can elevate a mid card guy into a title match on a Rumble pay per view, and that's something that they've done for donkey's years. I mean, in past we saw Rey Mysterio challenge for it at the Rumble. I mean, I remember there was a Rumble going back years when it was Jeff Hardy, and it was at a time when we all knew Jeff weren't going to win, but it wasn't about Jeff winning the title from Randy Orton. It was about Jeff just being seen to be in a WWE title
in that
match,
position,
a big paper. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of match that they can do. You can get away with doing those matches, and plus the other main event, of course, will be Drew and Goldberg. So you've got, the other title match can be that undercard guy being raised up to go against someone like him.
Absolutely, and should be. And I mean, I guess we're getting Shinsuke or Kevin Owens. I mean, that's and it feels more like Shinsuke with this match.
Yeah, it would be a real waste. I mean, this show is really should be really quite telling going forward. I mean, but again, I mean, I know we've been talking over one another, so we haven't heard a load of the commentary. So maybe people in the chat can let us know. Has there been any mention of Cesaro? Because this is all just, are we just suddenly expected to forget?
Dude? Cesaro. As if by magic. So we'll see if he's face or he's coming in a suit. So, I mean, another thing that we missed, Shinsuke had his face music back as well. They've got reverted back to his original NXT theme.
So will this be... So we could just be playing up to see what happens here. Does Cesaro go baby? Does Cesaro go villain? And is that the direction?
Who knows?
I doubt we're going to get all the answers on this episode.
No.
We shouldn't get this episode.
No, agreed.
It's just the other thing the problem that I have about this, again, goes back to, I know there was a load of rewrites and last minute everything on SmackDown last week. But the fact that they wouldn't even mention Cesaro's name last week tells me they had no idea yet on the direction for what they're going to do with Cesaro and Shinsuke. So, but the problem is it just kind of, we can all kind of see that. It kind of exposes their lack of forward planning, lack of forward thinking.
Or lack of thought in general, yeah.
You don't know, Jack just said Holly versus Brock at Rumble is another example. Absolutely.
There we go. Yeah, great example, Jack. Observing Stuff says... Observing Stuff joined us. Welcome, my dude. For those of you that are just joining us, this is Dann Read from Pro Wrestling Eve. Worked with XWA, 20 years working in the wrestling industry. You've worked with Cesaro, I'd assume, Dan?
Yeah, actually. Cesaro worked for me in 2005, 6. And Emily actually saw a bit too much of Cesaro. She was... she'd come over ill during one of our shows. We actually did Cesaro versus Pac on that show.
Oh, what? Wow.
Yeah. And so Emily's gone to lay down in the back, and this show we did in a nightclub. And so Emily's just like laid down on, what nightclub benches and, sofas, sitting areas are like. Because she's... this was clean because this is our changing area, but it was the back end of the nightclub still. Yeah, so Emily's gone to lay on that because she's got a massive headache. And Cesaro hasn't seen her, and he's just done the match with Pac, and he's come backstage, and he's looking around because he's going to get changed. And of course, it's a nightclub, so it's not proper changing rooms or whatnot. So he turns around, he takes his towel off, and just at that moment is when Emily opens her eyes, and right above her is Cesaro's everything. Wow. And he then just suddenly notices her, and oh my God, he like whips his towel back round his waist. He's apologizing, bless him. He's gone red in the face. Oh, he's a little sweetheart. He really, my words.
That's an awesome story, man. I'm guessing that was when he was wrestling with, around the time he was with Chris Hero as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he was still living over here. I say over here, he was still, living in Europe at that time.
Yeah.
So at the time, that was when he was Claudio Castagnoli. But he was wrestling for Ring of Honor at that point as well. So he was kind of like back and forth a load. So would he have been with Hero? I think he possibly might have. I've only actually worked with Hero twice, I think, which is bizarre considering Hero's been over here so much. It's just purely been a date thing,
Yeah.
So we're just getting the dates, lined up. But yeah,
absolutely. We're back on SmackDown, going back to Shinsuke and Jey. One thing I'd say about this, dude, is like it's freaking awesome that. My issue with SmackDown the last few weeks is while I love the Roman Reigns stuff, 30 minutes each at the start of each show is too much, man. You can watch a Simpsons episode in that amount of time and have so much storytelling, beginning, middle, end, and a load of humor in the middle. 30 minutes is they're not doing stuff very fast at all, and just dragging it out. But actually, look, we've got a SmackDown where we're getting straight into a match, and it's been a decent match so far.
Yeah. I'm all for. I'm all for cutting down. The thing is, wrestling tells a story in itself, and what's the purpose of the commentators? Your commentators, not really commentators, they're the narrators. That's what their job is.
Absolutely.
Their job is to narrate the story, which is why I've said this over and over again. I had such a problem with nothing being said about Cesaro last week. But we don't need as long, consistent, drawn out promos like we get, especially when there's no audience, man. It's even harder then. Absolutely,
completely agree. But WWE again. I mean, this feels great. Cesaro's really going. Jey Uso's really going at Shinsuke in the corner, really showing his sort of heel side here.
And there's a lot of great questions in this match now with the addition of Cesaro on commentary.
Absolutely,
because wrestling has taught us, that turns are inevitable, and so we don't know what way things are going to go. Is Cesaro going with Shinsuke? What way is Shinsuke going? Are we getting Shinsuke versus Cesaro? But they've got to be careful that they don't copy the Sheamus Drew McIntyre story. We've got to make sure that they don't do too much similarity.
At the same time.
Cesaro, I mean, obviously I can't hear what Cesaro is saying right now because we're doing this, but Cesaro's facial expressions seem to be a bit more heelish, maybe. I don't know if you can hear what he's saying or if people in the chat can hear. If you're able to let us know what you think, that'd be really, really great.
It would be helpful. Oh, them kicks, man. Shinsuke's great. Speaking of questions with Cesaro, Observing Stuff says, I hope Cesaro doesn't stay villain, but I think he will. Danny Hargreaves says, could Cesaro have been in quarantine after getting symptoms until tested and it came back negative? That is why he could have been absent and not mentioned. It absolutely could have been.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
if that was the case. That's what I was trying to allude to without saying certain. For some reason, YouTube doesn't like us mentioning the C word.
The
other C word. So the one with the number at the end. YouTube doesn't like it. Apparently, so.
Steve Carino, going for the pin. I liked the roll back and having him leant against the ropes as opposed to the turnbuckle, which he normally does. There, quite nice. Cesaro is on commentary. Cesaro being quarantined by last week. A lot of people seem to have that impression, and maybe it is. And in some ways, I think that's WWE's problem. Sometimes they, instead of like coming out and just telling us something, they try and hide it. The interesting thing about the Drew McIntyre having been tested positive was that that's the only one they've ever done.
When you think about it, right? I mean, I make no claims that there's any accuracy in what I'm about to say, but it's as much as you wouldn't want Drew to go through it, just like no one would want anyone to go through it.
No.
If a babyface goes through it, it kind of helps them because it puts a bit of extra sympathy.
Wow.
As long as it's not dangerous. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you announce that a babyface has got it, then they've got that's a big thing for them to overcome.
Interesting thought, man.
So
really,
so I can see why they would there. But the other thing is because they could have made another story up as to why, Randy and Drew didn't happen. They didn't have to go down that route.
No.
But maybe at the same time, maybe they thought they did have to go down that route.
Yeah.
Maybe they also have that much trust for Drew that he would be able to handle, being announced to someone having COVID in a I don't want to say a professional manner, because of course it would be professional, but in a manner that, made them happy.
Yeah,
they've got
absolutely.
that much trust for the things that he would and would not say about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's super kick. Great camera work again by Kevin Dunn. Not showing us what Jey Uso was setting up for as Shinsuke went for the Kinshasa. What's happened? How was Raw getting suddenly a little bit better camera work?
Okay, cool.
Millie Carden says awkward before slapping her face with a female emoji and sweat coming out of her eyes. I believe
that gives away the finish now.
Yeah,
I'm glad they had me for a moment there, because I was, you heard, I went oh. There's the Kinshasa. Am I slightly ahead of you, Anne?
I don't know, mate. I've just seen the pin with the ropes. A roll up and Kinshasa.
Yeah, that's what I was reacting to a little bit ago. I've just pressed pause so that I'll be.
Where are you up to?
Shinsuke's posing, so you'll know what I mean.
I mean, he's posing now, but he's posing, pointing up, pose, face, doing the hand signals. Yeah, cool. I don't know how that happens, man. That's one of the difficult things. Cesaro is in the ring celebrating with him.
Yeah.
So
we don't really know. I mean, the thing is, I'd quite happily see Cesaro and Shinsuke versus Jey Uso and Roman Reigns as a SmackDown main event.
Makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
If you really want to build to something, but I don't know how they're going to get out of this Adam Pearce thing. I mean, it could be that is the direction they're going. Fudge me, man. Do you know what, right? I love Rey Mysterio, but my God, I don't at the same time. He really has old-fashioned X-Pac heat, as it was called. Do you know what I mean?
How come?
He's just been involved in so many terrible storylines.
Right.
I have no faith in WWE's presentation of him whatsoever.
Well, the Dominic thing went on for forever, which is really bad, man. They should have. They didn't do that kid. Treat that kid fairly, man. He should have been sent to NXT to wrestle with people, get some. Ooh, Sonya Deville. And here comes Heyman, dealing with Sonya. They're going to put... Are we looking at a handicap here? Heyman.
Well, at least they're not having him be stupid. At least they're they've got him saying, I know this is stupid.
Yeah. But I don't have a choice in it. Interesting. So what could that mean? Obviously, that means that people can help Adam Pearce. Could that be someone coming down to set up the Roman match at Mania?
Jamel says, would WWE 2K21 being so bad, do you think there'll be a 2K22? Was there a 2K21? Because I thought because 2K20 was so bad, they scrapped doing a 2K21.
It was called 2K21, I think, but that was basically for 2019. Oh no, you're right. It was it was 2K20 was the last one, and God, that was terrible. No, they are doing 2K22. I know that they're working on it.
Right.
So because I would hate to see Battlegrounds 2.
I was going to say, because the person that's doing the motion capture has been vocal about doing the motion capture for her, haven't they?
Yeah, man. Yeah. They're working on it from the ground up. Well, not from the ground up. There's a lot of issues with coding in there, and the fact that the Ukes had a lot of Japanese writers in it, and a lot of the coding's in Japanese, which is part of the reason why 2K20 was a mess, because they couldn't understand the code for it.
What is up with console games over the last year or so, and the amount of bugs and problems they've been getting, man?
I know, mate. It seems like you can't release a game and just make it work.
It's why I'm retro, man. Retro all the way.
You Mega Drive.
I have got a load of games on a Mega Drive and SNES and Master System. I'm still trying to complete Alex Kidd in Miracle World. So, it's like 30 years later and I'm still playing that damn game.
You get there one
Classic
day.
Doom. Classic Doom for
Classic
me
Doom.
is the greatest game of all time.
Nice, man. Nice.
Right.
Mine is Far Cry. I really like Far Cry. Oh, no, Red Dead Redemption, man. Red Dead Redemption was beautiful.
Red Dead Redemption was decent. Yeah, I think I did own that. I had it on, was it PlayStation 2 when it first came out? Or was it PlayStation 2?
I was talking about the remake, but I think the original one was, I think it was PlayStation 2, yeah. Red Dead Redemption 2 was PS4, Xbox. But god damn, it's beautiful. Dynamic, man.
Still, like, the newest console I've got is the PS3.
Right.
My PS3 is still going strong.
Wow.
And don't get me wrong, every day when I turn that bad boy on, I worry that it's the last day that it'll turn on. But my goodness, it's going well still. I've got fans on it from all angles, though, trying to keep that bad boy cool. The noise it makes sometimes is scary.
No Mercy was a great game. Dude, that's what AEW are basing their game off.
Yeah, that's right. That's
cool.
I'm looking for. Hey, Ryan Butter's in the chat. Hey, Ryan. Ryan is actually one of the people that helps me out on shows.
Right, so, cool, man.
A number of the people that you'll see me talk about, if it's been within, I think it's been about 5 years that Ryan was helping me for, 4 years, something like that. So a number of the people that you'll see me talking about, Ryan was probably there with me the whole time.
There we go.
So, good to see Ryan. He's a good lad.
Thank you so much for joining us. And for those of you that are normally with us, Dan's provided some wonderful insight, but he doesn't just provide it here. He provides it on his channel with Eve Pro Wrestling, a wonderful free YouTube wrestling channel. The link is in the description down below. And last night's stream was freaking. I keep going on about it. I'm sorry. It was awesome. To get some backside.
There you go. I just put the link in the chat as well.
Banging. They don't always come up though, my dude. I had the same issue with you. If you put
did
a link,
I wondered why that wasn't happening.
Yeah, man. Right. If people put links in the chat, it doesn't share them. Daily Dan blogs join us. Hey, man. Daily Dan, interesting. He used to work with the NWA.
Oh, cool.
Years ago. So I'm sure you guys would have some.
Nice to meet you, Daily Dan.
There you go. So yeah, Red Dead Revolver was PS2. Redemption was PS3. There we go.
I've definitely played Redemption. That's the more cowboy one, wasn't it? Or am I getting mixed up with Revolver?
Yeah, they're all cowboy ones. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Everyone loves the Wild West. Just can't get a decent Victorian game.
We've got Danny says I've got around 3,000 ROMs and emulators on my Raspberry Pi for a lot of the retro stuff. I've got the Raspberry Pi as well. See, I've got a load of the games, but it's also I've got all the old consoles as well, but my god, it's just a lot easier having them on the Pi and being able to go to it as well. Especially play a load of the old classic arcade games that never got console release. Right, that's fantastic. Duke Khalif, I've still got my brother's Master System with Sonic built. They did a Master System with Sonic built in. Was that the Master System 2 then? Because Master System 2 was Alex Kidd in Miracle World, and Master System 1 was a weird game that was kind of like an Easter egg.
Is there a chance that it was it's an American thing?
I think if it had been an American thing, it'd have said Genesis, wouldn't it?
Dudes from Birmingham. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, I
I
always
didn't
thought it was
know.
Alex
Maybe they
Kidd.
must. Maybe they obviously later on they did it with Sonic built in.
Maybe so, man. Maybe so.
Sarah Kelly. Yeah, I remember the Master System with Alex the Kid. That's right.
There we go. Yeah.
That's and I'm still trying to complete that game. There we go. So we've got the replay right now of Dolph and Bobby Roode against what are they called? What's the partner's name?
Street Profits.
Street Profits.
Montez Ford and Dawkins.
Let me ask you, what did you think about them switching the titles last week?
I don't really care. The tag division is that sort of garbage. I just don't give a damn. I don't. I'm so, you know, and like there's 3 tag teams on. Well, there's 2 now because Shinsuke and Cesaro just potentially split up or whatever.
Sorry, just got a reference. You're absolutely right, Jack. That's exactly what it was. What the hell's wrong with me? I should know better.
There we go, dude.
See, I was just a bit like, they've had a really long reign. They've beaten absolutely everyone. And then they just lost it on a random episode of Smackdown. It's like, man, do it at the Rumble. Give it a pay-per-view. Kind of make it where the change happens makes it mean more.
Means something. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Doing it at the Rumble, that would absolutely feel more, especially when you've built the Street Profits up. You know?
The thing that I hate about the Street Profits, sorry, I'm hardly not listening to them because they're not going to say anything important. And at the end, they're just going to say, we want the smoke. I hate that. What does it even mean, man?
Well, they've never given any kind of, idea of what they're going on about, because of course they can't on WWE.
No. I get it.
It's about, I know what I mean. It's just like, but it's about them trying to look cool but they're not cool.
Well, yeah. So okay,
it's one of those things. When you tell people you're cool, you ain't cool.
You ain't cool.
People don't tell people they're cool.
No, man.
And that's how it always comes across here.
It's just the way everything ends with, and I understand how a tagline works, but this tagline just makes no sense. There's been people who have been talking in chat before who've said it's about smoking the competition, and I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't really work like that. What it is a reference to weed, I'd assume.
Yeah.
But
yeah, of course.
But it doesn't. They don't come across as two dudes who smoke weed.
No. I mean, the thing is, as well, is it's like it's them trying to get that line in on a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, but in a way that they can defend it so that they can say, no, that's not what they're referring to. So what you end up is this middle of the road, no commitment to either side.
Absolutely.
And,
And they deserve better than that because they're both very talented.
So Apollo and Roman Reigns. I don't know what their plan is, but I think this is brilliant to just have Apollo even in the same segment as Roman Reigns.
Wow.
That visual right there does more for Apollo Crews than anything he's done before.
Amazing. Interesting.
It's good. I don't know if you saw, I actually watched Talking Smack last week.
Ooh, Jesus, you committed.
Mate, well, do you know what? I stuck it on and Emily was literally like, what the I stopped myself from swearing there, but yeah. And I was like, well, I said, I keep hearing that Heyman's doing some real gold stuff on here. And the first, 99% of it was absolutely horrific. Then at the end, Heyman cut this brilliant promo on Apollo Crews. And I was just like, there we go.
Interesting. And his match with Big E last week was beautiful. I was pissed though as well, so.
What, at the result, or you was drunk?
Oh, I was drunk, which made the show wonderful in my eyes.
Do that on Monday when you watch Raw. That is your only way to get through 3 hours of Raw.
Oh Jesus, man! A 3-hour stream where that wouldn't last. I'd definitely be.
Apollo's really good. I've just seen someone saying in the chat, I think it was Crazy Ginger Jake. Let me go back to it. I'm not a big Apollo fan, but I've not seen much of him even on NXT. See, I haven't seen a great deal of him on WWE, but a lot of that's because they weren't really having him on WWE TV much. But obviously, I do know him more from his independent days. Member of Dragon Gate, a tremendous Japanese promotion, and he would be over here in the UK a lot. Working for Preston City Wrestling was really like the main promotion he was working for, but he worked a number of promotions while he was over here. The dude can go, and if it's worth also checking out, as I mentioned Dragon Gate earlier, it's worth checking out his stuff in Dragon Gate because, that promotion is all about going.
That's
That's the promotion where the Young Bucks really made their name.
Yeah.
So,
And they had the Pac promo with Adam Page at Dragon Gate, didn't they?
Exactly. Yeah. So, and so no, like Apollo Crews can go. I really don't like that spinning powerbomb thing they've got him as a finish because it takes so long. From once he's got them up, the idea is that he then runs and turns them round, and there's too much gap there. You compare it to an RKO, a stunner, or even the pedigree where there's just more. It's fluid motion into it. It's not stop start.
Sorry, go on.
No, carry on.
I was just going to say, because the promo with Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton is, and I'm not just going to use you to slag off the Fiend, but fireballs in wrestling. Dan, have you ever used one?
I've used fire in wrestling, but never a fireball.
Okay. What was the fire?
Which time?
Oh.
Done it a few times. The most famous one would be Makoto Ibushi with the fireworks.
Oh, Jesus, man.
So, but yeah, no, we've done like flaming tables and shit like that.
Oh dear.
But we don't do them in the Resgal because that place was the victim of an arson attack once, and obviously everyone there is a little bit more sensitive around doing fire. Plus, it's it's hot enough in that building anyway. You don't want fire going.
The Resgal is where we watch Eve do their live streams from.
Yeah, they're the intimate, 200 people crowded packed around the ring. Shows that we do like 30 to 40 of a year.
Perfect,
when there's
man.
not a pandemic happening.
Yeah.
It'll be a while before we get to be able to go back to doing that and have that many people in close proximity.
And people being comfortable with it as well. It's
yeah, that's the big thing. Even when they say, you can go back to normal. No, we won't.
No.
We're all super awkward for a good few years, I would imagine. It'll always be like that little subconscious, playing out there. Butters says it never happened. So what Butters is referring to is technically what Ibushi did could be classed as domestic terrorism.
What?
Yeah. So we did this spot with fireworks, right? Now the plan was so Ibushi gets in a car. Butters, were you driving? Ibushi gets in a car and Ibushi goes to me. I'm sitting in the front. Ibushi and Ihashi are in the back. And he goes to me, I've got this idea for fireworks. And I lean back over and I went, open the bag next to you. And he opens the bag and we've got fireworks. And this is what I mean when I talk about me and Kota on the same wavelength with the same ideology in wrestling, right? And he's just like popping for the fact that I was on the same wavelength. Got it. Right? So, but the plan was we go outside the building and they're these Roman candle style fireworks, but they're pretty big.
Yeah.
So the idea is that his opponents are up against the wall. He's at a distance and he shoots the fireworks at them and they move. So the idea is that it clears that and it basically, goes up to the wall. That way no one's hurt, everyone's safe. But, the idea is that the space that we had cleared, blocked off the road and everything, would have meant that he'd be able to chase them like a Ghostbuster chasing a ghost with a proton pack, okay? That was the idea, but going across, it had been completely safe, checked it all off. They get outside, and Kota just decides, I'm going to do something else. And so he gets on top of a car, and he starts shooting the fireworks on himself. Oh, he starts shooting them up first. So he's shooting them into the air. The problem with him doing that is above our venue. Our venue, when we talk about it being underground, it's legit underground. There's a train line that goes right above our venue.
Jesus.
So he's shooting them up, and there can be a train coming along at any moment now. That would be cast as him shooting at a train with a firework. That's cast as domestic terrorism.
Jesus Christ, man.
This goes on, and then all of a sudden, we start hearing sirens of police cars.
I bet.
We're like, get everyone fucking in the building! Get back in the building! We're just like, nothing happened here. Nothing happened. Like, thankfully, it wasn't coming for us, and yeah. But my God, that was that sounds
like a hell of a time, to be perfectly honest,
mate. So that show that I did there, in particular, like that segment. right, ended up on Comedy Central the next night in
Oh,
America.
really?
And I hadn't even seen the damn footage. So there's millions of people watching my show the next night on TV in America before even I'd bloody seen it. Because obviously everyone got their cameras out and were recording it and then posting it on Twitter and everything. So all these TV. I got a call from Emmy and Manami Toyota the next morning. Well, morning their time. So it was like like midnight, 1 a.m. our time.
Yeah.
And it was them going, Dan, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, why? And they go, you're on the news over here. I'm like, what?
Brilliant. How long ago was that done?
17, I want to say.
Jesus, that's recent, man.
2017, something like that.
Cut bullshit. That's a cracking story, dude.
So, yeah. Oh, there was a few.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. We've got the new Riot squad with Billy Kay now being Punk with them. Natalya and Liv Morgan in the ring.
Natalya learned a lot over here in the UK for All Star Wrestling. Training with Robbie Brookside, Klondike Kate. She worked Klondike Kate, who's a member of the Eve Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Many times. She was also the big proponent for Paige getting signed to WWE because she knew Paige from as a young girl working on the camps with her.
Oh, right.
And she was her biggest supporter, and it was really Natalya that got Paige signed.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So it's not what we saw in Fighting With Your Family. It was actually a bit of Natalya in there.
I've never watched it.
Have you not?
Because, well, the thing is, right, I know these people in real life, and so I know the story.
Right.
So it's very difficult to then watch like this
Hollywood, blockbuster,
like,
yeah.
Especially when it's made out, when it's called a true story, and you know it's not.
Do you know what I found really weird about it? There was an extra in the background that wasn't wearing a mask. It was El Ligero.
Oh yeah, the entire British wrestling business was in that movie basically as extras.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just like, I was like, and I'd never tell anyone where it was, but I was like, that's weird. But
well,
whatever.
I think it's pretty easy to spot, to be honest.
Yeah,
if you know what
yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, Dan.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not a fan of Liv Morgan, Dan, at all. And people go mental at me in chat for this.
There's no reason why, go mental over it. Like, I think Liv Morgan, from what I've seen, has a tremendous work ethic because her improvement rate, has been, tremendous, basically.
Mm-hmm.
By twice, but that's basically the case.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people often suffer from not having worked the indies extensively.
Yeah.
Oh, I think she thought she was got to do another shoulder block to the midsection, but Natty was already feeding for the sunset.
Yeah.
But and I wonder if there's that little bit of, and I could be massively wrong. I don't want to try to put any kind of, but obviously how they're filmed, and trained for WWE is different with regards to the indies. But it often means that we just kind of get like the same match repetitively. There's not a great deal of there's not a lot of things that are new, when we're watching.
I don't feel like she flows very well in the ring, and there's so many people that say she should be the next champion and all this sort of stuff. And I feel the reason they're saying that is because she's beautiful.
But
in terms of like in ring work, she couldn't run a match.
Promoter of a women's wrestling promotion.
Yeah.
Is that like I can't tell you how much wrestling fans who talk highly about female wrestlers should be able to be getting pushes and and saying how great they are when they're not.
Exactly.
Damages the business because especially on the indie level, like I mean, it really does my head in. Hold the women to the same standard you hold the men. If
Absolutely.
You don't because the thing is, it's not a lack of talent. It's not like women can't wrestle.
No.
Because they bloody well can.
Absolutely.
They run an all-women's promotion. I wouldn't do it if I didn't feel like I could give the same, if not better quality content with women's wrestling. Oh, here we go. Finish.
Have you gone ahead of me again? How do you keep getting ahead of me?
No, I called it before it was the finish. It was just obvious it was.
Roll up.
The
3. There we go. Natalia wins. Who cares?
Yeah, no, it just happened for me at the same time as you, but it was just clearly the finishing stretch.
Yeah.
Because that's the story, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think, without trying to get back off my point, this is a big problem that I have with WWE, is wins and losses mean nothing because it's all constantly about the current story, and the current story never folds over into the subsequent story. It's almost like every storyline, everyone kind of resets.
Yeah.
So in the previous story, this person might be able to have beat this person and be on this level, but in the next storyline, they're losing, going back and forth with this person. And it's just like, well, hold on, that's two. How are they suddenly able? Shinsuke Nakamura is a prime example. I was talking with Butters on WhatsApp last week after Smackdown, and I was saying to him, didn't I see Cesaro lose clean to Xavier Woods like a couple of weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, yeah, probably, yeah.
And now all of a sudden he can go through these guys. Now in the old days, what you would do is the wrestler would disappear for a few weeks. They'd maybe tell a story about how he's gone back to train with an old trainer of his, someone that knew him, get back into what made him want to be a wrestler, change his mentality, learn some new skills. And you would kind of rebuild. So when they come back, them getting those wins meant something.
Yeah.
It made sense. It was logical.
Yep.
Now it just happens.
Without any sort of rhyme or reason, and your point is absolutely perfect with Shinsuke Nakamura last week. Like that come out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. Just going back before we get on to my X-Pac Heat guys on the screen right now. As I said, anybody that supports, who tries to claim, that a talent is better than they actually are. Purely because they find them attractive, causes more damage than it does good. I'm sure in their mind they think they're supporting.
That's the camera shot. Sorry, it missed it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
They did do another one, did they?
Yeah, they did another one. Sorry, go on, Madam.
No, I was just saying, and I just find it. I find it insulting to the wrestlers, and I also have found it because I've had to work with wrestlers before who have gone, well, all these fans think I'm great. And I'm there like, yeah, well, no cunt wants to work with you, because they've been in the ring with you before, or they've seen your work and they know you're rotten.
Yeah.
know, and it causes, a load of people to get in this kind of, not everyone, obviously, but it does cause a number of people for that online support from certain kind of wrestling fans to go to their head a bit. And it's like, I just find it insulting as well. If I've spent, right, I like most tickets for Eve shows, right? The least you'll pay is 20 quid. That's like the bottom end pricing, okay? It'll be 20 quid and £25. And if it's a seated show, it'll go up to 50 quid, right? Now, I'm charging a fair whack of money there, right? Now, that is because I am presenting the best wrestlers. I am flying in wrestlers from all around the world for this show. That's a very expensive thing to do.
Of course it is.
Now, I would not do that if I didn't feel that I could give you a better show with men. I wouldn't be charging. I think if you've laid down 20 quid, $20, you should get the same quality, if not more, with this talent as you would with that talent. You should not immediately lower your standards because of the gender of the person you're watching. That doesn't do anyone ever any favors. So, I'm going off on a big rant here.
No, it's all right, man. It's all good.
Passionate about.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. Well, you run a female wrestling company, We want your opinion.
Stop thinking about the quality of wrestler matches whether or not your dick gets hard for it. Don't do that.
Yeah, no, I agree completely, man. I agree completely, and that's what I don't see in Liv Morgan. And why are we talking about Liv Morgan when we can talk about Bianca Belair or Rhea Ripley or even Lacey Evans or
Liv Morgan? I think there's a place for her genuinely, and I think she can get through. I think there's potential there. And the other thing that I hear about Liv is that everyone likes her. I don't hear any drama about Liv at all. So that's a good thing.
That's a massive plus. Yeah, right.
But I think she was in quite a toxic relationship at that point, and she got out of that. And you never hear anything bad about her.
No.
And I always think that I was always like, I would rather work with someone with a great attitude who's not a natural, because they've got that great attitude, they're going to work hard, than with someone who's a natural who's an absolute prick.
Well, Natalia's known for being a great worker in terms of, she's always early to the arena and stuff like that, and always wanting opportunities. But actually, there's been talk of her that working against her at times as well, with people her eagerness being too much as well. Who knows?
Yeah, you can't. There is a thing about like being, keen to put people over and make other people, but at the same time, I think. I mean, in the day, Natty's been there for how many years now?
A lot.
Exactly. So, but I know what you mean, and you're absolutely right. It can go against. It's gone against a number of wrestlers. Sometimes you can be so good that they're just like, oh, fantastic, we can use this person to make others. Especially because when you're in the ring with those people, that person learns. So you'll often then make a point of putting them on with younger talent.
That's what they do.
So the younger talent then beats this established person. But that person's, stock and belief from the fans just goes down, 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 down.
Yeah.
That can damage, that person. Yeah, you're not wrong on that.
No. Sorry, it's very similar to the Lana thing as well. Like this sort of angle of her going through tables and all this sort of stuff, which is fine. It's all fine. But the issue is the payoff going to be there? And they haven't, because they've swapped it out for Charlotte Flair. But was the payoff in Lana beating Nia Jax going to be a match that would have excited? Do you know what I mean? Like, if they'd used many of the other women who are, and don't get me wrong, Lana's trying really hard and putting a lot of work in, but she's not as great in the ring as, let's say, Naomi. Now, if you do the exact same story with Naomi, you can build to a payoff. And actually, with Lana, they put themselves into a corner because there was no payoff there.
Yeah, what's the deal with Naomi, man? I've got to ask someone, because she is talented as anything.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
I'd love to see. The other thing that I find hurts the women in the WWE, another reason why I'm a big believer, it just bothers me that they don't have an all-women's show, is the fact that you only get to see them in very segmented, small number of minutes matches-wise.
Yeah.
I want to see Naomi do some 15, 20-minute matches.
Too right.
Right?
All the women.
Good for her. She'll only get better and better and better.
Absolutely. Kada thinks the women are better wrestlers, and that match was interesting. Kada's happy Natalya won. Oh, good. Well, if that's what Kada enjoyed, that's awesome.
And you know what's good about that as well, or interesting, rather, I should say, is Natty played the villain in that match. So it's interesting that Kada, wasn't swayed by who was the villain and who was the baby.
Absolutely.
Which is, quite. I don't know if damning is the right word of WWE storytelling, but it's certainly damning of how people, view the product as a whole, in my opinion, because it means that they're not able to effectively tell the stories of the characters they have in a way that they want. And it also just kind of goes to show just how god awful that piped in crowd is.
Oh, mate.
And how desensitized their view is compared to. That was one of the things that I hate hearing, and they did it on. There was a Talking Smack I saw a clip of. I think it was, or maybe it was the Raw talk. It was with Ali. And they said the fans, you could hear them. They were going crazy.
The commentators do it occasionally as well. It's just like... It's
piped in.
Mind you, but saying that though, Dan, Dom will watch a stream, and I've seen Dom do it several times, where he's like, oh, listen to that pop. And I'm like, there's no pop.
No, there is no pop. No, it's just all piped in.
Yeah, exactly. But Dom at times will get invested enough to sort of believe it, which is quite interesting as well. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's about investment. Jake's put a really nice comment. This stream has been really interesting. Good to learn things from a promoter's point of view. Very interesting. You may notice I've been listening and not chatting for 10 minutes every now and then. That's great. Sorry. Normally I go through all your sort of comments and stuff, but actually Dan's here, and it's a
Sorry, I'm just chatting constantly. Sorry.
He just rants on, man. But the thing is, like, it is, for me, it's interesting. And while I'm sort of half watching SmackDown, actually, I'm listening to you as well, because I think that you're giving some wonderful insight, and I hope that you're all enjoying it. And hopefully if Dan comes on again, we can sort of enjoy this again. Dan, do you want to do Raw on Monday? In fact, you could...
I love you, but no.
I tried, dudes.
Sorry.
I tried. That's a great compliment to the match. Absolutely, Jack. If it does invest new wrestling fans into it, absolutely. Dan, do I have to be a member to come watch Eve? Great question from Dude Calf.
In person? No, it's just tickets available whenever this day may come.
And where can people find you? We're doing a watch along, dude, this week of Wrestle Queendom 2, I think it is, isn't it, Dan?
One.
Oh, is it just one, the original one? Cool.
Yeah, it's what we've been doing on these weekly Wednesday nights has been effectively, think of them like our episodic TVs.
Yeah.
So we've been building to Wrestle Queendom, and that is the next episode will be on. I will do it Wednesday, and then what I'll do is I'll repeat on Thursday.
There we go.
So I'll do it Wednesday, and then I'll repeat with my commentary on Thursday. I think is what I'll do.
Interesting.
But yeah, so this Wednesday night on YouTube. So youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Eve, and I think Ant's put the link as well in the about
in this
details of this watch along that you're watching right now. Yeah, come join us, man.
Absolutely, man, and we'll be doing a watch along of it as well. So, so come and hang out with us, dude. And we might actually be late for AEW this week because I'd rather watch it.
I've timed it out. We're going to finish at 10:02.
Oh, yeah, perfect, man. That works better for me as well because you've noticed, haven't you? I always have to leave the stream early.
You always miss the main event, don't you?
Sometimes I do, yeah, because I have to have a fag before.
Notice that, yeah.
Sorry.
Do you know what? No. Apologise, man.
I was going to suggest that to you actually.
Have we got the same finish? Don't make this the same bloody finish.
Yeah.
Freaking is.
Yeah, of course it is. There's the distraction.
Over AEW. And justifiably,
yeah.
when they have similar things go on, we've just seen the same finish 2 matches in a row.
In another match that doesn't really matter, and that's the problem.
They've got, do you know what? They can't have heels where I hate this notion that if you're a heel, there has to be some BS involved in you winning.
Yeah.
Heels can be talented wrestlers.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
You don't have. If they do enough dodgy stuff in the match, that alone makes them heel. You don't need to have a dodgy finish as well. Sometimes heels might not even need to.
No.
It's about the mentality and the morality of the performer, not about their talent.
Absolutely.
Some, it might be about their talent, and that's what makes them. But then that's the story of the character.
It don't put over the heels.
We haven't got that.
No.
We didn't used to have this. What is this modern mentality with heels can't win unless there's BS involved? Because if everyone's winning with this in the same way, no one's got heat.
And it hurts the faces eventually as well. Absolutely. I completely agree with you.
Because the faces are falling for the same things. I'm really trying not to swear.
No.
Right? I've dropped the C-bomb, the F-bomb, and everything else. Right? But, like, the faces are falling for the same tricks every time.
Daniel Bryan versus Cesaro. We're getting that tonight. What the hell? Adam Pearce walking backstage. We'll probably better listen to this. What's he going to do? Great comment, Millie. I'll get to that in a second, man. Okay, why?
What's the difference between that and an ODQ?
I don't know. I don't see the point, but I suppose it's Roman trying to show he's got control of Adam Pearce.
Visually, it protects the characters a bit a lot more by doing it that way.
Yeah.
Means that you don't have the visual of Adam Pearce going for pinfalls and repeatedly getting twos. You've got visuals of there being constant, whether it be weapons or dodgy shit that's involved in it being a count and Roman Reigns getting up. Because the visual of that of Adam Pearce covering Roman Reigns, I can see why they repeatedly in a match and getting 2s and 2.9s. I can see why they wouldn't want to do that.
I still don't think the match is going to happen, though, mate.
I certainly hope not. Oh, this is Bayley's gimmick, is it? Okay.
Oh, cool. A new talk show.
Let's go to the chat. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, Millie Carden says Liv has improved so much and continues to improve each time she wrestles. I truly want to see Riot Squad as the tag champs, if only half the women championships were taken seriously. Do you know who I want to see tag champs, Dan? And I think you'll probably definitely agree with this. The women's tag champs, Ginny and Nina Samuels.
Oh, Christ, yeah.
I mean, how good would that be?
Millie would agree with you as well.
Yeah, mate. Like, and then you're exposing them to across all the brands like that. It can't happen now because of COVID, but that would have been awesome. That should have happened years ago.
Does anything expose how little championships mean than those women's tag team titles, and the fact that they're not a major part and they went as long without being a major part, and the fact that there isn't women clamoring to form teams to go after those titles?
There should be, shouldn't there?
There should be, of course.
But when you break up a team like the Iconics, and the Riot Squad would be another example of that, like you've got these sort of iconic or potential iconic. I'm saying iconic because of the frigging Iconics, but you've got the potential for these sort of wonderfully packaged tag teams to be fighting for that, and then they go and split them up and do all this different stuff. Weird.
Yeah, well, that's because that's a lack of forward thinking. They've got an idea at that moment,
and then they just
make
go
a
with
big
it.
thing about, and then it changes 3 weeks later. It's just going back through here. So I've scrolled up, obviously scrolled too far. Butters says Havoc and Noir versus Ibushi and Gator, if I recall. That is correct.
There we go.
Jamal says, I've never been more excited for a wrestling game like AEW Wrestling. I cannot wait until pulling out those epic finishing moves and the tag team moves on my unworthy opponent. I'm excited, actually, as well about the AEW game. If it's going to be like the No Mercy games and the Japanese games they're based on, which I actually have as well, because retro.
They're retro.
Yeah, like...
they are making a retro game, as well.
Are they? I didn't realise they was making a retro one as well.
Who is it called? It's not
Oh,
AEW.
I thought you meant AEW.
No.
Yeah, no, I do.
I can't remember what it's called.
It's Virtual Basement is who you mean, isn't it?
No, Virtual Basement is... they're trying to do a 3D model one. They've released a lot of the 3D models. It is called... I can't remember. It looks like the old arcade Legion of Doom wrestling games.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So it looks cool.
Danny Hargreaves, Dan Snug... I'm not doing that. Sorry, pal. There's a character called Jerry Lynn in it. Doubt it's a reference. What game? Is there? Because obviously it's not the Jerry Lynn.
I'm going to go to the toilet while you do this, my dude.
Okay. Liv is the greatest wrestler ever, Anne. How dare you not like her? Is there anybody still playing Mortal Kombat 11? Mate, I'm still playing Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. Like, I've never got round to 11, but I have watched all the YouTube videos of it. Women can wrestle with correct booking. Women can wrestle, full stop, but like bad booking will just screw everyone over. Kata thinks women are better wrestlers, and that match was interesting. Kata's happy Natalia won. Yep. Shinsuke lost in minutes to Otis. Of course. Yeah, where was Otis last week in that gauntlet match? Why wasn't he in it? Where's the consistency? I like to think that since the break started, he's just been pacing back and forth, and Ray's just been there watching him. And then at some point, he hit a number of pacing back and forth. It was too much. It just so happened to do with the red light coming on him. The acting was terrible there. Okay. I assume Owens will come out at the end tonight, says Butters. Yeah, I would imagine. Well, I don't know, actually. I guess we'll find out, though. Millie says, thank you, Dan. I've said it so long. Heels can actually win clean. Yeah, absolutely. Daniel Bryan versus Cesaro is going to be awesome. It absolutely has the potential to be, yeah. Crazy Ginger Jake, hold on, Dan. How do you decide the winner of the match? And is there discussion from all parties about who goes over? Is there any conflict? Depends on who, but no, I'm kind of, respected enough where I've never had that. There might be the odd person where, out of respect, you'll say, hey, this is what I would like to do, tonight, and this is why. But for the most part, everyone understands. You'll talk about what the where you're going, what you're doing, and why you're doing, and that's that. So it is very rarely. My whole thing, the second that there's a wrestler that has a problem with putting someone over, I stop working with them, because that would be the equivalent of the actor who's playing Caesar saying, you know what? I know Brutus is supposed to stab me, but I just feel no. I just feel that no, my character wouldn't die, and so no, I'm not going to die in this film. It's like, you what, mate? That's the role. That's the role you're playing. So hello, welcome. You're in time for Bianca Belair, and I was just answering a question about Crazy Ginger Jack asked me, how do you decide the winner of a match, and is there discussions from all parties about who goes over? Is there any conflict? And as I said, my whole view is the second that someone has a problem with putting someone over,
they're gone.
Yeah, I don't work with them anymore.
No.
You just can't.
No, absolutely not.
It's a fake world,
Yeah. Bianca Belair having fun. Bayley looks interesting, different.
I love it.
I love it.
Bayley. I think she's such a great performer. Yeah. I think she's great on the microphone.
Incredible.
Considering, the word, what she's given with, I think she performs tremendously well.
I thought she was wonderful as a face and a heel. Yeah, I agree. I didn't see her heel run being this good. Oh, so these are building for the Rumble, but obviously there's got to be something more than that, because we want to see these singles again. Ginny and Nina as tag team champions would be incredible. Also, just thought of that is kind of terrifying, actually. Bayley has a tattoo, does she? Danny says, who do you think's winning the men's, women, and Royal Rumbles this year?
No idea. That comes back down to what we were saying. Is what do you see as the main event? Like, what do we see as Drew's main event? Is it Drew? Are they really going to do Drew and Sheamus as the main event for the title, or as one of the main events for the title at WrestleMania? I find that very hard to believe, and that's no disrespect, because if you put Drew v Sheamus on WrestleMania, I'm 95% certain that'll be the best match of the show, no matter what else is on.
Yeah, but would people buy it for that though? Either?
Yeah, and that's no disrespect to Sheamus. No, Sheamus has just been around so long, and his character has been up and down, up and down, up and down. That to suddenly put him in the main event of WrestleMania just doesn't feel.
The issue isn't with Sheamus; it's with booking.
It would feel too forced and feel too wrestling fake.
What they might do is they might do Drew Goldberg. Goldberg gets his loss there, but wins the Rumble.
Yeah, that was one of the things. I think I said that to Butters. I was wondering if they might go down that route. And that's how you get Goldberg versus Roman. Because if he does put Drew over and it is Goldberg for Reigns, they need to build him up suddenly. And I can't imagine them wanting to do a bunch of Goldberg matches on Smackdown or Raw.
I don't think he'll want to, will he? No.
No. He's normally just a 2-3 match guy.
Bianca Belair with the confidence. Let's have a rematch right now. She's engaging, man. As a performer, she's constantly doing something when someone's talking to her, which is brilliant.
Oh yeah, her. She is very, very good.
To carry on your question, Danny, for the women's, I think Rhea. I think we're going to get. It'll either be Rhea or Charlotte. I think we're going to get Rhea and Charlotte at Mania again.
So that means they've got to take the belt off Asuka at some point before then.
Does she even have the belt? I mean, it's been terrible. And that was to your point earlier about the tag titles meaning nothing. They mean more than the women's belt on Raw at the minute.
Well, yeah,
Bizarre.
well, yeah. The other thing is, I think of course they could change it, but isn't the plan for Rhea to go to SmackDown, not Raw? So if it's Rhea and Charlotte, she'd have to go to Raw.
Unless they do it as an NXT thing again. You could
She's so beautifully animated as Bayley.
They both are.
Yeah, I think it's because she's green to TV still. I find Bianca to be clearly acting,
right?
Whereas Bayley feels a bit more natural.
Okay, cool.
What she does. There's Otis in his Dave Mastiff tribute of Vader tribute outfit.
It's definitely Dave Mastiff tribute.
Which was a Vader tribute, So
it all goes back.
I wonder what Mastiff thought, because Mastiff was wearing that style long before on WWE TV as well, long before Otis was.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a no-no, but Otis has got seniority, being that he's on SmackDown and Dave is on NXT UK. I agree with Jack. Jack says there shouldn't be two men's tag titles. I completely agree.
Agree completely.
If they haven't got enough teams for two bloody tag titles. Dude says, have you been doing shows since the pandemic? No, haven't been able to.
No, man.
We were scheduled, as I mentioned earlier. I don't know if you was in the chat at the point. We were scheduled to, but then lockdown occurred, and that put it, because we were going to be doing no ticket shows, so no fans in attendances. So Cesaro's now villaining it up against Daniel Bryan here.
Oh no, he's comedy.
That's terrible. Still. I'll take it if it means I get Daniel Bryan and Cesaro to an extent.
On TV, man. Yeah, I mean, it's a decent match, isn't it? So.
Bayley DeJean, that's a good point, Jamal. That's exactly who they were going for, wasn't it? I didn't notice that at all, but well done.
What's that?
Saying that was Bayley was dressed like Ellen.
Ah, right. Yes, it is. Thank you, Jamel. Spot on, man. Yeah, bang him.
Heard AJ
Bayley
Styles' bodyguard is going to be in the Royal Rumble. If he is, he sure as hell ain't winning. I'd be surprised if they stuck him in the Rumble only to have him be eliminated. But at the same time, I suppose it's to have the big guy spot and maybe to have him face off with Braun or something like that and create a moment.
I think we're getting several big guy spots in this Rumble. I think that there's going to be we're going to get very similar to Rumble last year. I don't think they'll put many people in the ring together because of COVID.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point actually, as to how much do they go down that route,
And if you've got a chance to have him eliminate Chad Gable and a couple of others, then it saves them a bit of having to have lots of people in the ring.
Ain't it heartbreaking how, we talk about a talent like Chad Gable and we've already relegated because that's how he's been presented to us.
That is the thing. It's it's never about these wrestlers. Like, I can't do anything that any of these dudes do, but Jesus, it is the booking and it is the sort of the way that they're put over or not.
Yeah, it's all about that presentation.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Danny Hargreaves says, I've got Lacey Evans winning the women's and Kevin Owens winning the men's.
Interesting.
Yeah, I certainly don't see. I don't see either of those happening. But at the same time, I'd be less surprised with Kevin Owens than I would be Lacey. That would be such a
left field.
Left field. Yeah.
But Drew sort of was last year as well. So maybe
Drew was the favourite last year.
Not going into it, he wasn't. There was internet speculation that he was going to win, but
you didn't think he was. Who did you think was winning? I thought that was one of my big problems with the Rumble last year, is it was too,
But in terms of the build to it, dude, there was no good. What I'm sort of saying is, internet speculation, news sites and everything had reported that he was going to win it. But in terms of story build, there was nothing going in for Drew. You know what I mean?
I felt that it was obvious they were going down that route for me personally.
Okay, cool.
But maybe I'm misremembering it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought they did a great job with it. The
Rumble was
where
outstanding.
I thought that he wasn't potentially winning it was there was chances once he'd eliminated Brock. Because once he'd eliminated Brock, I kind of felt like
he got that rub.
He doesn't need to win it now.
I said exactly the same. Yeah. Bianca versus and Sasha Banks, team bossiest, absolutely. Bay's keys tattoo is on arrest. Dan, is the one talent you worked with where you just knew they're going to become a star somewhere? There's probably several.
There's a number of. Yeah. I knew Loki. Loki actually didn't become the star that I expected him to be, but that's through his own, doing, and not necessarily his. Loki's one of those guys where there's a lot of stories about people not getting on with him, but I've always gotten on really great with him. Loki was Kaval, by the way, for anyone that doesn't know, for a brief period of time in WWE. But his size just went against him. That was when they weren't ready, really, for pushing that guy. He was due to come in as an evil Rey Mysterio. That was the original plan. Then they scrapped that plan. I think he'd have done better if they'd have given him that.
Right.
But Loki should have been a bigger star than he became. But I always knew he'd get signed. I knew Nikki would go there. It was obvious to me.
Nikki Cross.
The finals of the first ever Eve Championship tournament was Nikki Cross versus Paige. I did that on purpose because I knew those two were going to be big stars. Yeah. And I knew that I would have a match between two big stars in my library. And as it turns out, I have the only match between those two stars that ever occurred.
There we go.
So yeah, I knew Drew would become a star. I knew Sheamus would do well, but I didn't expect him to do as well as he did. Same goes for Wade Barrett. But Drew, we all knew that was the big thing. Like we all knew that Drew was going to become the guy. It was just, the size of him, the fact that he can work. He's a goddamn handsome man. And
Dan, was this after his first sort of run?
No. We knew back when he was like 2021.
Right. Okay.
We were all saying it back then, and the boy knew how to work media as well. Like that was the other thing. Like for him to not make it would have been
something.
We'd have been more surprised that he didn't make it than him making it.
Right. Wow.
But Sheamus, Sheamus going over Cena really surprised us. And that's no detriment to Sheamus but the Sheamus that was on the indies and the Sheamus that I remember coming to my shows as a fan, isn't the Sheamus that you now see on TV. My God, he became an incredible worker, or he has become an incredible worker. But yeah, I think Drew and Nikki Cross and I suppose they're the two most notable ones.
Keith Lee, you worked with?
Yeah, I knew Keith Lee would have the potential, but I also knew that the type of size he has and how Vince is could be a detriment. But I knew Keith Lee, could become a star, but I just how much, and we're seeing that still on WWE TV.
Yeah,
to this day.
Absolutely.
Because Keith Lee, as we saw on the stream, when he worked for me, the things that you saw with Keith Lee and the things that you see with Keith Lee in WWE are night and day.
Absolutely, man. Who was his match against? I don't want to butcher his name.
Daisuke Sekimoto.
Freaking
incredible.
Absolutely amazing match. Absolutely amazing. And dudes, honestly, I can't advise Eve enough. And I am going to try and talk Dan into doing more of them sort of backstage streams that he did last night. And he knows how much I praised it already because it is so interesting. And I think that this stream has been interesting while we've been keeping half an eye on Smackdown, just like getting that insight, and you can do that for yourself on their channel on Eve Pro Wrestling. So please go like it, go subscribe. The link is in the description. Later on this week on Wednesday night, about 2 hours, he's starting at 10:30 UK.
Yeah, I'll start at 10:30 because I'll do a bit of a recap for it.
Right. So about 2.5.
The actual Wrestle Queendom show times out because I've edited it to cut a load of the boff out, basically.
Sweet.
The actual Wrestle Kingdom show itself times out as 97 minutes.
Okay, cool.
So I've put a little bit of extra on there to bring people up to speed as to why we got to where we got to.
Makes sense, my dude. Yeah, makes sense. So about 2.5 hours before AEW starts, wherever that is in the world, we'll be doing a watch along of a pay-per-view that Eve did.
Oh, they just clashed heads.
Oh, what when he dropped on him?
But yeah.
I
don't know what. I can't quite tell what they were going for, but the back of Cesaro's head landed on the forehead of. He's still holding it.
It's never good seeing Daniel Bryan get any sort of head injury, is it?
Yeah, but that was on this part of the skull. The reason why, back when chair shots were a thing, and anything that you would take on this part because this is where you're most protected.
Mm-hmm.
This is the last place. And it's where one of the that you want to take anything. You haven't got the protection on the head there that you've got here. So on the back there, and that's one of the big things that was always brought up with regards to Benoit, was he would take unprotected chair shots right there as the last freaking place
you should never do that.
Get hit. No, you must always. Even the training now that is being done is done to protect this more so than this. This is why your head, like if you get into a fight with someone, you can headbutt someone with this part. But you don't want to freaking smack anyone here, and you don't want to get head here. That's why punching in the back of the head in UFC and in most MMA promotions is against the rules
illegal,
because of that reason. So, like Daniel Bryan would have been fine there. The most he'd have got is, maybe a cut. But Cesaro is the back of his head going into the hardest part of Daniel Bryan's head.
Interesting, man. Interesting.
That's the reason why, like I said, chair shots you should always never there. Should never be on top of the head, although a lot were.
And then we see accidents as well. Like the Cody Rhodes one.
Part of the reason why sometimes guys would take chair shots there is because they'd panic because you keep your head up. And of course, you've just got this chair coming at you full whack. And so that last minute, you just panic and you go like that. And that's actually more dangerous.
Right,
Of course, better to take chair. Not that I implore, I don't allow chair shots to the head. To be
no,
clear, because there's no need for it.
No.
But if back when we did do chair shots, that's why you would do it there. Never do it at the top there, never around the back of the head.
Danny asks an interesting question. Do you guys think the middle hour of Raw would be a great place for a dedicated hour of women's wrestling? It would break up the men's segment and give the show a clear beginning, middle, and end.
Last thing I'd want to do if we were going to get an hour full of women's wrestling is have the people behind Raw involved in it. So it's just like, because we would just get the same BS with the women. The women's, if they give a women's 1 hour show, which as you know, I've spoken about many times, I really want, it needs to be presented differently in its own format, its own structure, and its own presentation.
And networks, perfect for that.
Yeah.
Man.
If you can do 205 live, you can flipping well do a women's show.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
It's not they're paying to run that damn thing anyway, that damn building.
Yeah. Whilst I selfishly would love an hour of women's wrestling on Raw, I don't think it'd be a good idea for the shareholders, because I have a feeling that wouldn't do as well as the first two segments, and especially if you're using Raw's booking, and then you will see less women on WWE in general, because they'll have a statistic to say this is not doing as well as that. So.
Yeah, I agree, because at the end of the day, right, it doesn't matter. Part of the problem with Raw is, number one, you don't care about the wins and losses. Mm-hmm. The second you take away the ability to care about wins and losses, what are you even watching for?
Yeah.
Why did we get all invested emotionally into the Marvel universe? Because we cared about what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
It was, but we're watching Raw to see what happens. We're not watching because we care what happens.
Not anymore, no.
Not exactly.
No.
And we don't believe in anything that really does happen. There is a emotional apathy when it comes to Raw these days. And that is a major problem when it comes to professional wrestling. Because once you take emotion out of wrestling, all you're left with is a bunch of people pretending they're fighting their pants.
Absolutely. And you can't get invested in that. Oh, dude, Cesaro is split on the back of his head. You spotted it.
Oh, he is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that has sucked.
Isn't Goldberg actually contracted for just like 3 matches a year? Yes, I believe he is. But then there'll be some builds involved in that as well. I'd assume, Millie, some 3 matches, but maybe so many appearances as well to build them matches. Do you think?
I just saw you don't know Jack saying about the suicide dive into the chair shot. That comes from Mexico. They would do the suicide dive into a swinging chair in Mexico, and they actually did it. There was it was on Nitro, and it's the match is on the network, and it's tremendous. But there was a Mexican. This is what they built it as, a Mexican hardcore match, and it's a trios match with hardcore rules, and it's an outstanding hardcore match that, sadly, because of the direction for the show, the commentators spend just laughing at it because they keep going, it's not just a hardcore match, it's a Mexican hardcore match.
Dear me.
And it's just like the guys are killing themselves.
Yeah.
Cyclope or Halloween, I think it was, actually needed surgery after the match. But there is that same suicide dive into the swinging chair. So it's literally like a baseball being thrown and the batter just freaking going for it. And it is sick.
Wow.
And because of the Mexican, style, of course, being a lot of high flying, that's where that chair shot from the suicide. I kind of wish maybe that hadn't been done, but it's inevitable that it would be. Yeah, if you want to see that kind of thing again, search the Mexican hardcore match on the WWE Network from Nitro. Really, like I say, cracking match, as most of the Lucha Trios matches were. On Nitro back in the day.
Yep, sort of brought that into American wrestling, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah,
certainly the light heavyweights. Do you think the Rumble will be dedicated to Pat Patterson? Absolutely.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me though if it wasn't.
It should be. It definitely
should be. Absolutely.
They just started pushing him as a babyface. Drew had, yeah.
What else was there? It's like this is a solid match. Everything makes sense. Everything's linking nicely.
It is. But you got 2 dudes in the ring that can work, man.
Yeah, exactly.
But SmackDown's been really solid in terms of wrestling, apart from them sort of the Rey Mysterio, Baron Corbin, and the women's match. I get it, it's all for story, but it's everything else on the card I think has been great.
Baron Corbin. Oh my God, there's I said X-Pac heat for Mysterio. Baron Corbin is actually above that.
Really? Wow.
But yeah, no. To be fair, I think X-Pac heat needs to be replaced with Baron Corbin.
It will be.
God. And the thing is, I actually quite enjoyed him in NXT, and I enjoyed that behind the scenes stuff. I liked a lot of his attitude towards what his job was. I really, because it was a very, I know it pissed a number of fans off because he was like, "Look, I'm here to do a job. I'm here to do business." And actually, that's a cracking attitude to have. Is I'm here to focus on, doing the job, not anything else, not drama online or anything along those lines. Yeah, as is often the case, what you see on TV on Raw isn't what you get with NXT once the writing changed. I've lost Smackdown, by the way, so I've got I've got to restart it.
Spend some time to get it up, and then I'll let you know when we get a pin or something.
I'll miss the finish blatantly.
It's been really good. It's been a really good match, actually.
I'd be surprised if it's not Daniel Bryan over, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it should be, but it depends what their angle is with Cesaro and Shinsuke, I suppose, as well.
It does.
Beautiful uppercut.
It would be frustration because Shinsuke's having success and Cesaro doesn't. That's their normal go-to. I hope that's not what it is. It's just that
Cesaro just won.
Did he win?
Yep.
Clean?
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely clean.
That's very interesting.
It's something between Shinsuke and Cesaro in the future.
Yeah, well, I mean, so the argument there could be that they're going down the route of, I beat Daniel Bryan too.
You're right. Yeah.
Daniel isn't I know everyone was talking about Daniel Bryan being in the main event and the title picture and everything, but I don't think what a lot of people realize is he has no interest in that. Daniel Bryan has creative investment, his own creative control, and as part of what's going on that show, he believes that he's too old and he's past it, and his job is to be a dad now and just kind of help people along, not to be the guy anymore.
But the issue is, like he put so much work into Drew Gulak last year prior to WrestleMania, and really sort of had some wonderful matches with him. You could tell that Daniel Bryan wanted Drew Gulak to get over, and the problem is after it finished, there was no follow up.
And that's the problem with them. Full stop. Is this is what I was alluding to earlier. They think for the story they're telling at the time, not for the story they're going into. You know, like, so with Lashley, even though you can say, you know, well, they're protecting him consistently, that's because they're thinking of a certain story.
Yeah.
But once that story that they get to, that they've spent all this time building up to, what happens then? Have they actually thought about what happens after they get to the reason why they've protected him the way they have? I'm back on, by the way. I've got Apollo Crews making his way to the ring right now.
Pause it, and I'll spot, and I'll let you know when I get to it.
Okay.
What have you got on your pause?
He's about to do his pose at the entranceway.
At the entranceway. Okay, I'll let you know when we hit that. Damn, you know you're on Memphis Championship Wrestling. There's the pose, with the, I'm there, man.
Do I know my what?
Dan, what's your knowledge on Memphis Championship Wrestling? I seen wrestlers start their careers live in person.
I haven't watched Memphis in donkey's years, for obvious reasons. I mean, I have a ridiculous number of videotapes that I used to get sent over from the States, but now... and I've got a number of, some of them have been converted to disc, not all of them. I still have a load of video cassettes, yes. I'm terrible for hoarding.
And do you have a VHS player?
No.
I didn't think you would. No. I had a feeling.
No, I don't. I do want to get, they're fucking expensive now.
I bet they are, yeah. I bet they
can't, you know, they're not made in mass quantity like they used to be.
No.
But
LP players are the same, man.
Yeah, right? Like... Yeah, so, well, I do have a video recorder TV built in still, but the VCR part isn't working properly, and I haven't chucked it because I'm adamant I can fix it. Now, I have been adamant I can fix it for about 6 years.
Is it in your garage?
Sorry?
Is it in your garage?
No, because anything that goes, my garage leaks, so anything that goes in a garage is destroyed instantly.
Is getting thrown,
yeah, which I found out, sadly, when underneath where the leak was actually a box of all my old wrestling figures from back in the day that are actually worth some freaking money. And that just got completely ruined. And my Master System. No, my GameCube was with it as well. So I lost my GameCube. But sad story. But no, so that TV VCR combi's in the house still. And like I say, one day I will get round to fixing that. Hopefully.
One day, man. One day. He says every day, and it's said for the
Emily
last 6
would
years.
probably just be much happier if I just got rid of it.
I bet she would.
There's a whole room in our house that's just literally like, there's the Eve canvas, there's the chairs that we use on the shows, there's the broken door from where Su Yung hit the Death Valley Driver on Martina.
There we
got
go.
That in there for some reason.
The Eve Hall of Fame's over at Dan's house.
I've got a broken table from one of the last shows that we did. Because the thing is, you tend to reuse the table legs.
Yeah.
Right? So,
you just haven't got around to taking them off yet.
Yeah, so I just haven't done that yet.
When you need it, it'll happen.
Another show, you know, to do so.
Yeah.
So there's a room in our house that I'm pretty sure Emily would be much happier if it was like a usable room.
You'll get there, dude. You'll get there. Oh, you won't. You won't actually.
It's like $1,000. Do you know what I mean? So I want to make sure that stays.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
After and
stays neat.
Those chairs all add up. There's probably about a dozen chairs. You know, they're like 30 quid a pop as well, so that all adds up. But there we go.
So there you go, Wrestling Canvas. There's another one that you've got. It costs about $1,000. We've got from Dan.
For a good one, you can get cheaper ones, but don't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Right, so this is about Goldberg, Ryan Butters. I don't mind if he is giving the rub to Drew. The issue I have is when he comes in and wins titles, destroying the credibility of people beforehand, a la The Fiend last year. Guy is near enough unbeatable, but loses to a spear and a jackhammer. And Ryan, this is why I'm concerned. That might be happening to Drew.
I don't see it.
But you wouldn't have said you saw it with the Fiend.
Yeah, no, got to agree. I didn't think they would do that.
And actually,
but there's a difference between the Fiend and Drew. And Drew's a baby, and Goldberg has issues with villains, so with losing to villains.
But
this is the promo I was on about, where this was absolutely an outstanding promo from Heyman to Apollo last week.
Yeah, he is good.
There's no one when Heyman's on form, and that is nearly always. There's no one better on the mic than Heyman.
No. Oh, Apollo's doing a real good job as well. Good for him. What was I saying? Fiend. Right. So here's a way that they can make it work. Right. Again, you have this whole thing with Goldberg beating Drew, and then you've got a theme going on. You've had the Fiend happen, you've had Drew happen, and then you can have something in the future where we all expect the exact same thing to happen, and it doesn't. And that is what really elevates someone, you know. So there is chance of that happening as well. Be that, you know, Riddle would be a perfect example of that. Like, they've wanted that match for Riddle certainly wants that match. Goldberg's got no interest in it, but I'm sure if he's getting money, he'll do what he has to. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't think he would. I think, you know, whenever they go to Goldberg, they go with a plan.
Okay.
Usually, Goldberg is a multi-millionaire. So I think Goldberg's, you know, a lot of what Goldberg does is just, some of it is for the money, some of it is part of, you know, his kids seeing him wrestle and whatnot. So I don't I kind of don't expect, just like I don't expect to see Riddle and I'd find it more likely to see Riddle and Lesnar, and Lesnar has no interest in working Riddle.
No.
But Goldberg is more set in his ways, you know, than Lesnar is, which may sound surprising, but you know, Lesnar will listen to the dollar.
Yeah.
Goldberg will want the morality of everything. You know,
oh mate, we're getting Goldberg and his child against Jey Uso and Roman at some point. Oh God, it'll happen. Is that a
Ghostbusters top?
It is a Ghostbusters jumper, and he's on a couch.
Man, I need that.
I think WWE are going to really struggle with Big E because they don't know how to present him, and they don't know how he's going to present himself.
Half the time, the issue is when you don't work with the talent and instead try to just write and create the talent.
Absolutely, which is what AEW are doing wonderfully.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
work with the talent rather than just trying to make the talent fit into your mold. Work together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sorry to everyone. I should go back to the comments.
It's all right.
I think the last one was, what do you know on Memphis Championship Wrestling? If you spoke to me about it, we could, you know, like I could talk to you about it, but, you know, that Memphis went on for a very long time. So, you know, there's not a lot for me to really say just suddenly.
Have you guys watched WandaVision? I haven't seen it yet, but I do want to watch it. I'm quite excited.
Yeah, we were going to watch it tonight, but Emily weren't feeling well. And, like, we're all going to watch it as a family, Emily, myself, and the kids. So
nice one.
We'll probably watch it tomorrow. I am hearing nothing but positive reviews about it, which is not surprising whatsoever, because it's the first one of the series. You know full well that they're going to want to hit a home run because it's going to set the pace. That is a wonderful. I want that jumper. And yes, I'm a huge Ghostbusters mark.
There we go. Oh, Jesus, he landed on the back of his head there after that German. But look at the strength of Apollo. And this is all after one promo with Roman Reigns. Again, a guy who's dictating what is happening to superstars at the minute.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, he's so good.
Uh,
Out of any of the shows, barring NXT and AEW, the only one I don't mind watching is SmackDown. I'd agree, Ryan. I'd agree. I think this has been a really solid show.
Yeah, no, to be fair, like, this ain't been... That's why when you said about doing this, that's why I suggested SmackDown.
Yeah.
Because I was quite surprised, but I just so happened to be up I don't know why I was up last week, but I just happened to be up, and so I was just when I was having to wait around for something, so I was like, oh, I'll stick Smackdown on. Nice finish, progressing. And it keeps the storyline of Sami Zayn and a conspiracy going as well. So,
and it's Apollo Crews using a heel move. He's had this interaction with Roman, and suddenly he's starting to become the heel and out healing Sami Zayn potentially, which is awesome.
I'd have much preferred if he'd have done something heel and then won with a move or something afterwards, rather than just because the thing is. You know, you still want to show him that he's a threat in some form. So I'd much rather have done, but it keeps with Sami Zayn's character of there being a conspiracy.
Yeah.
But he'd have still been able to have done it.
Yeah,
Just that this was a bit clearer.
Did Sami Zayn have his film crew with him? Because I didn't see them. Yeah, I did. Right, cool.
Yeah.
Apollo Big E. I mean, they had a wonderful match last week. I'd be down for that at Rumble, definitely.
Millie just said, pet peeve of mine is it drives me crazy when we're in the match, let's go to pin before the full 3 count. Yeah, do you know, another one, and you see people do it all the time, is the person that's getting pinned will lift their leg up for the other person to hook their leg. You get a slap for that normally. So yeah, no, that's a pet of mine. I hate as well, and a lot of people's.
Keeda definitely wants to do this again. I'm pleased that Keeda's had a good time, both with us and watching SmackDown. That's awesome. We've got a new wrestling fan. Yes!
All good. I'm adamant everyone's a wrestling fan. They just don't know it yet.
Absolutely.
And that's because it comes down to how wrestling is presented. And as I've mentioned before, the majority of people, if you watch an Eve live stream, you'll see that, like, majority of the crowd is actually women.
Yeah.
Like, how many times do you find that on a wrestling? A majority of the crowd that comes to an Eve show, they know Eve, but they don't know wrestling. They don't watch any other wrestling. And I've said before on the Eve stream as well that when we run Eve Academy, which is the London School of Women's Wrestling. It's an all women's wrestling training school, and you know where the trainers have to train differently there than what they would train if they go to a number of other wrestling training schools, because they can't say things like, you know, when Roman Reigns does this, because the majority of the trainees, not all of them, but majority of the trainees will go, who's Roman Reigns? You know, they don't watch it. They might have tried it. We often get that. They're like, I tried, I just didn't, you know.
Get into it.
Yeah, exactly. But they can tell you everything about what goes on at Eve. You know? And that's the kind of thing, because it's all about the presentation. We present. Like, one of the big things that I'm a big believer in is the second you walk into the venue, I believe wrestling should be immersive theater.
Absolutely.
So I believe that the venue is a character. So the second you walk into that venue, you're already feeling that you're a part of the show, something's going on. I want you to be going, wow, is that where they and are they going to do this? I want them to be looking around. I want them to feel something just from walking in. That's why venues are so important to me. I don't like just a venue with a ring in the middle. To me, that's just not, you know, it's got to feel special. It's got to feel like a character. You know, one of the things that, I won't tell that story now, but like there's, you know, I'm just a big believer in that. And that's one of the things that we do on the with the venue. You walk in. You know, we moved from a different venue to this place because this place was underground, because this place had a real punk vibe to it, which matched us. I know I'm wearing a freaking Slazenger, you know, collar shirt right now, right? It might sound, but trust me, okay? You know, I really wanted everything to feel legit and who we are.
And it does.
Know? I didn't want it to feel forced and fake. And that's what I feel a lot of the time it comes down to WWE, and people feel that it's forced. And that's why you still get people say the dumb thing, like, I don't get why people watch it because it's all fake. Because, you know, they haven't had it presented to them in a cool way. Whereas when people, we never get that at the show. We'll get people that have never seen wrestling before in their life. Like, we have to tell people what the rules are because they don't know.
I'd 100% take someone who didn't know about wrestling to go watch Eve, definitely, and know that they'd have a great time. And I've seen it before.
We get hen parties.
Yeah.
What wrestling
Yeah.
show gets hen parties?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We spoke briefly about NGW and their products and stuff like that. Rich has started to do Wrestleverse as well. That's another one that he's put on in Hull. But an over 18s night, and again,
with different, it's more cartoony characters and everything. Isn't it?
It's the performers being able to do something a bit different, and just a load of people having a laugh at some wrestling, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the type of show that I'd rather take my brother to. Who would go to watch a WWE show and not necessarily enjoy it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, because wrestling, and at the end of the day, we've been able to create a whole audience for Eve that aren't wrestling fans. And that's why I always say the biggest mistake I made was Wrestle Kingdom 2 when I targeted wrestling fans. Because most wrestling fans won't go to a women's wrestling show. It's more popular, and this comes back to what we were saying about wrestling fans saying, you know, that this female is a really good wrestler, but it's really just because they've got a hard on for them, you know, rather than that is, you know, it's more popular to say you support women's wrestling and watch
to actually do it
that you find attractive than to actually do it.
Absolutely.
You know, there's that subconscious bias that a lot of guys have towards women's wrestling. And this might be, and I hope I'm not making anyone feel uncomfortable in the chat when I say this. It's just, I think it's important to sometimes just ask yourself, you know, some difficult questions.
Absolutely.
You know, and there's nothing wrong with come to answers because it just educates yourself on different things. I think we all.
There's that camera shot again.
I saw it that time.
Do you see it with Roman going down? Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, I liked it.
It's great, isn't it? It looks. Yeah. I really like it.
Yeah. Sorry. I do apologise to everyone. I've spoken so much.
Oh, it's all good, man. It's all. Look, we're not getting into everything, but I'm sure this will happen again in the future.
Corbin looks like a pot man collecting empties at Wetherspoons. He don't look like a star, does he? At all.
I have my issue with Corbin isn't his wrestling ability because I think he's great. It's not his look. My problem with Corbin is his voice, the way he speaks.
I get you.
Is so slow and monotonous. It's not engaging at all, and I think he needs to work on that or change it. But I think what they think is oh, he's annoying people. He's a heel with that voice, but it's not. It's X-Pac Heat, which is exactly what you said. You know.
Yeah. I don't care about him. You know, it's more annoying, and it's not. That's the thing. He hasn't got heat that makes me want to see him lose.
No,
he's got heat that makes me change the channel.
Yeah. But I don't think that's his in-ring work, or because that's fine.
It's the presentation of the character.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. And again, it's another destruction of the importance of wins and losses. I just saw Danny Hargreaves says, "And how much did you enjoy the content I sent you the other day?" What did he send you the other day?
It was just some porn. Yeah, fabulous. Thanks, Dan.
Dan, let me know if you ever want a VHS player. I'm happy to give you, as I have a few. My dad's a hoarder for old tech. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Look at that, man. Look at that. Thank you, dude.
As a matter of, you know, following on and doing what I do want to fix the one that I have. I kind of feel like after Emily suffering it, you know, for 6 years, you know, with it being here, I feel that if you don't,
you're in trouble. If you get a second one, you'll be dead.
Yeah. Right?
But also, you've also said it on a live stream now as well, so this will be up forever. So I mean, you got to now.
Like, thankfully, she's upstairs, a bed asleep. So, what was that?
Awesome out for a GameCube. A big fan of 15 years, and it was my favorite console ever. There we go, man.
Millie says, "Hey Dan, how painful is it to go through the tables used at Eve?" Yeah, they suck. But there's the same tables that everyone. We do the same thing that pretty much, you know, most people would do. But yeah, you have to hit them with some force to go through.
Did WWE do that to the tables? Because I know what you're talking about, but I think they produce theirs differently. I think theirs is.
ECW used to just get theirs from Staples.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. There'd be no pre-cut in that.
The difference is you don't get... The reason why we have to do things differently over here is you can't buy the same tables over here that you can buy in America.
No, but I'd assume
it's the same as ladders. Like ladders over in America, they got the rungs on both sides.
We don't have that here. No.
That's not allowed
No.
After 5 foot something. You can have rungs up both sides up to 5 foot, but then under health and safety, you're not allowed to have rungs up both sides.
Right.
So that's why it's real pain in the ass doing ladder matches, and why people walk in, and most people don't know that.
No, I never knew that.
Safety rule. That's why you can't buy it over here. So WWE actually bring in when they do their shows over here, they actually bring in their the tables and ladders and chairs from America, and they've actually got a room at they've got a storage room at the O2 where they keep all their weapons all the time for when they come back.
Right. Wow.
So there's always they've always got ladders and tables and whatnot there, and if they don't use them, it'll just be there for when they next
come back. Yeah.
It might actually be at the O2. It might be at their they've got another warehouse effectively around there. They'll probably just be able to pick it up and bring it to the O2 in case they need it for that night.
Now, Dan, now that they've opened up the Performance Centre, they might have moved it there as well.
No, I don't think it's there, but
no, it's not. Okay.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was, at one of their warehouses. I didn't really see a lot of that. I haven't got the audio up. I'm guessing there wasn't really a lot to it.
He's just walked off. I don't even know what's happened, and now he's tweaked his leg as he's walked out. He said he's been waiting all night for this or something, and then just walked out with a contract.
That's really bad acting on his leg.
Eh? Oh, what's he doing now? You wait. It gets worse.
Oh, Christ, yeah, it does, doesn't it? Oh, well, I suppose then it's supposed to deliberately be.
Yeah.
Bad.
It's one of them old injuries, he's saying. His mic is going out, isn't it? Is that for you as well?
Yeah, it is.
And the Soapboard replacement, are we going to find out tonight or have to wait till next week? We're finding out tonight. It's Kevin Owens. Cool.
Yeah, Kevin Owens.
Cool. It's fine. I mean, the TLC match was great, so...
The TLC match was fantastic. But this is classic WWE. We start with a TLC match and it's the last man standing match, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, that's what they said. I think that was the last thing they said. They might have said something else in the ring, I don't know. But that looks like the end of Smackdown, dudes. Guys, we normally go into a review at this point, but we've been half sort of watching, half sort of talking, so I don't think we're going to do that. But Dan, if you're...
I don't think there's need a review, because I think we've covered half, like... I feel that we were paid enough attention and we covered it.
Yeah, as it was going, yeah. It was a decent show, though, again, by Smackdown, so good for them. If you're
as good as last week's. Or as interesting as last week's, I should say.
I'd agree, and I think that's because you had the surprise of Shinsuke suddenly emerging as a contender again, which as wrestling fans we all get excited for, because Shinsuke is great. But like Dan's going to stick around for a few minutes. I'm telling him he is.
I'm wide awake, as I said. My
buzzing
because of I'm often on Japan time anyway. So right there it's about 11 a.m. or 12 noon. So yeah, I'm wide awake, so I'm good.
So we'll try and get a couple more of your questions in, because I think that's been one of the most interesting parts of the stream, to be perfectly honest. As well as Dan has agreed.
Oh my God, sorry. She said Sarah said that Kata's only 9. I am so sorry. There were things I said that I am so sorry.
I warned him about this before we started. And he said, I will do my best.
I did. And the thing was, I was doing my best.
You did. I know you did fantastic. You only said this. You only said the C word once.
Anyone that's spoken to me outside knows that every other word, sadly, is. Yeah.
It's all good, man. And Dan's also agreed to do a nipples game. Well, hey, and not only is he doing a nipples game, he's giving a freaking love poem to one of you. So if you're new to the channel, hang around for that. We'll try and get through a few more of these comments. If that's good, Dan.
Yeah. I thought you were doing the love poem. Am I doing the love poem?
Yeah, you're doing no, we're both doing a love poem. And you've just talked about, you don't say the F word and then follow it up with the S word. Like, that doesn't help. It's not like you are taking it back. It's all good, man. Progress had a good canvas, a cheap one at the Pro, Joe. Guess which one causes staph infections and was get ridden of? Is that a major issue with canvases, Dan?
Yeah, it is, because a lot of people don't actually bother cleaning and washing their canvases.
Right.
It's a real, like, we actually did it. And I get it, right? Canvases are big, so it costs more than perhaps you'd like. But as was said, staph infections and various, like, people, the thing is, people bleed on the canvas a lot more than you may notice, because everyone gets cut elbow. You know, canvases, you can easily scuff your elbow and whatnot on.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know, like,
mouse.
it's not slippery.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, sadly, this is a true thing. I can honestly say I am the only independent promoter I know that washes the canvas.
Wow, Jesus. And
That's
do you
damning on the business.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean others don't.
No.
But I literally do not know any.
Wow.
And I've been in a position to see where most of them store their canvases. And it just normally goes straight back in until the next show.
It's not in your garage, Dan. Out of interest for us all, how much does it cost to watch? Because you've got to get it professionally washed, because it won't just fit in a washing machine. Or how much is it? Can you reveal it?
Normally, you could just take it. One of the things you could do is take it to a car wash place.
Oh, really?
You get yourself a pressure washer and
Right. Oh, cool. Interesting. There we go, guys. How fascinating is this having Dan on? It's Riddle and Shane McMahon's birthday today. Oh, yes, very good. Cheers, Millie. I'm ahead as well, Millie. Keep trying to keep quiet. It's all good, my dude. We was only half watching anyway. I would love to know where Big E got that jumper. So would Dan.
Yeah, I really would. What we go? It's really. I'm just trying to catch up with where you are. Yeah.
And Dan, how's Smackdown? I've really been enjoying it a lot. Alex, welcome. Hope you're all doing well. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. It's certainly a lot easier to watch than Raw. I wouldn't want to watch 3 hours of it.
But you're coming back on Monday, right?
Fuck off.
That was part of the contract. You know that spoken contract?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that fictitious one.
Alex and Wrestle Story, and anyone that's sort of joining us for this sort of review section that we normally do. We're not doing a review tonight. We're talking to Alex, who's a wrestling promoter. We've just watched Smackdown Live with him. Alex is a promoter for Eve Pro Wrestling.
Is he?
Excuse me.
No, Alex, welcome. we'll have a catch up.
We'll have a catch up. He'll see who we're paying.
The problem is, right? I'm supposed to be watching, the swears, and you're asking me about doing Raw. What chance have I possibly got
of not
to
swearing?
Not go swearing my head off watching an episode of Raw?
Yeah, it would be pretty tough. It is.
That show gives my arse a headache. Right? It is just an abomination of a wrestling show.
Pretty tough, man. Pretty tough. But I am watching it on Monday, so please come and support me. Come and support me. So yeah, Dan runs Eve Pro Wrestling as well as XWA. He's worked in the wrestling industry for about 20 years. He's got a lot of connections in Japan. Worked with Kota Ibushi. Worked with Keith Lee. Dude, like any questions you've got, bang them away to Dan right now.
Yeah, put them in. Go for it.
There we go. Wrestle Story said hello. Hello, Wrestle Story. Hope you are doing well. They'll be going live now.
What do you do to Wrestle Story? Because that's obviously a brand.
Yeah, the Wrestle Story are a wonderful channel that we work with quite a lot. They are a father and daughter podcast. Yeah, man. They're from America, and they do frequent reviews of Raw and SmackDown. We've worked with them quite a lot actually, and
I'll check you guys out. I mean, it was one of the things behind myself doing Eve and my wife Emily was, literally like we had a daughter. And it was literally just kind of like I already knew, and I was already working within this part of the women's wrestling and working more. It just more solidified. We were just like, look, I want my daughter to be able to do whatever she wants based on how hard she works, not based on anything else. I don't want her to be afforded opportunities for any other reason, and I don't want her to be refused opportunities for any other reason. I really am a big believer of getting out what you put in. Mm-hmm. And that was in the state of the wrestling business back then, especially towards women. I don't think people would believe the stories.
No. Well, a lot of them come out as well, so it still exists as well.
Well, yeah, but I tell you, and I'm not trying to play anything down. Mm-hmm. Like if that had happened 10, 15 years ago, Like it was way worse.
Mate,
like, and that's not, and that should tell you that's not playing down
No.
what the stories that came out now.
No.
That's just pointing out how bad it was
Yeah,
back
and
then.
dude, you go to the
Horrific.
80s. You go to the 80s, and we're not even sort of considering it yet. You know, and that needed to happen,
Yes.
and was great for women to be able to speak up. But we haven't heard all the stories at all.
No.
And but yeah, so a father and daughter trio. Maven's got a real personality about her. She rants a lot. I think we've just started a live show, so we'll go raid them after we're done here, as we normally do. So yeah. I'm also going to try, and am I going to say this? I'm going to try and see if Maven will join me for the Wrestle Queendom stream, because it'll be great to hear her point of view for something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, completely. Would love that.
Yeah.
Sorry, where did I catch you? I took you off, didn't I? It was just after the Wrestle Story said hello, wasn't it?
Yeah, basically. Ivan said, what is happening on SmackDown? I might be late to tomorrow's stream. No worries, Ivan. What happened on SmackDown? Brief recap. Roman's working with Apollo. Shinsuke is fully face. Cesaro is sort of face, but there's obviously something further going on there. Billie Kay's got with the Riot Squad. She broke away from them, and the Baron Corbin and Rey Mysterio match.
We had two of the same finishes, one after the other.
We did, yeah.
With Baron over Rey and Natalia over Liv Morgan. Tamina and Natalia. Tamina's now put with Natalia because
why not?
That's Tamina's job, is to be put with someone.
Yeah. I mean, there's story there, isn't there? Like two second generation wrestlers. Like there is
just bloody loose.
There should be, but it should be there. Sorry, excuse me, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Keda likes the idea of Queendom, dude. We are going to be watching it on Wednesday, so come hang out. Mr. G stream Impact with Dom and Ant. No, it's just Dom and Ant tomorrow. We are talking about doing the Royal Rumble with the rest of the story.
It's pay-per-view, isn't it?
It is, man, yeah.
You poor sods. There you were, expecting Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, and now you got bloody Moose. I'd feel the need, compelled, to offer refunds. If I was saying, look, I understand that I'm, swapping one star for another, but there is a slight difference between Moose and I've spoken to Moose a few times. He's a lovely person.
Yeah.
But when I was offered to have him on my shows, I did say no because I just can't be dealing. That guy's a flat earther.
Is he?
An extreme. Oh my God.
Yeah, but AJ is as well, and you wouldn't say no to AJ.
No, well, I've worked with AJ.
There we go.
The flat earth is the least of it. He was all sprouting about how amazing George Bush was when I worked with him.
Oh, really? Wow. There we go.
Yeah, but Moose is proper, like shit you not. This is what he said once, right? He goes, "Hey, if the world is round, why don't they fall down?" No.
Brilliant. Yeah. No. Well, I spoke to Dom earlier because obviously we're doing it tomorrow, and Dom's really gutted about it. But ultimately, it's the safest thing to do. So good.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And of course,
he is a nice guy. I will say that. I feel bad telling that story because he is a super, super nice guy.
I think they're going to push him to beat Kenny Omega for the Impact title eventually. I think he'll be the one that takes it, and that's going to be the build towards it. But what was I going? Let me get your impressions on this, because I know that you've not worked with Kaylee Ray. Is that right?
I have or haven't?
Haven't.
Worked with Kaylee Ray?
Yeah.
She's one of my best mates.
Okay, there we go. He has worked with Kaylee. No, not sorry. No, sorry, not Kaylee Ray. Kylie Ray.
Oh, Kylie Ray.
That's my fault. Sorry.
No, I've never worked with Kylie Ray. No. Impact's
handling of. Did you see the last Impact pay-per-view?
I haven't watched an Impact pay-per-view in years, mate.
Right, there we go, dude. Mate, she was off. She had a lot of.
I know about what happened.
Yeah. But my biggest problem with what Impact did is from the start of that show, where she knew she wasn't in the building, they still advertised it as an event, as a match that was happening.
I guess. I think I don't know. I could ask and find out, but I don't know what the full situation was at that point. As I understand it, none of them knew what was really going on from one minute to the next. And they were kind of scrambling in many ways.
Yeah, but
so
when
it
the
wouldn't
pay-per-view
surprise
had
me
started,
if
they
they
should
weren't
have.
sure about how to present that change.
Mm.
You know, but also you're dealing with how to present it in twofolds. The twofolds to that situation. Number one, you need to present it in a way that is both logical and sensible and entertaining from a show perspective, but it is also considerate towards Kylie Ray and what she's going through.
Really, really difficult circumstances, but
very difficult.
But the issue was advertising her throughout the show was.
Yeah, but the thing is, at that point, no one else is buying the pay-per-view.
Well, no, you're right, but
you know, like the show's already on.
I suppose what I'm saying is that actually by doing this and sort of announcing the change already, which will disappoint people because everyone's into Motor City Machine Guns at the moment, is actually a real sort of learning step for Impact, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, could they have said prior, Kylie Ray will not be on the show, but there will be a women's championship match, and do you know what I mean, or something? But I don't know the full extent. There's a saying, like Dave Meltzer always says, plans change, and a load of people have a pop at him for saying it as though he uses it as a get out for it being wrong about something. On that note, I will say, most wrestlers that I've spoken to, and it's not every wrestler, but most wrestlers I've spoken to will say the only reporter they really pay attention to is Dave.
Right.
And so that to me is enough.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But you know, I spoke about earlier prior to us coming on about when I had one of my phone calls with William Regal, and one of the things that we spoke about during that was, you know, plans change, and that it was literally, you know, that phrase used. And at that point, you know, you're literally trying to work out, you know, a way to do what's best for your audience, and also, is there a chance that you can still deliver this and that? And a lot of these things can literally happen at like the 11th hour. And so, with that situation being what it was there a part of them, excuse me again, that was thinking that there's a chance it could happen or not? I really don't know enough of the details.
Yeah, maybe so. And none of us do.
No, exactly.
Yep.
It was always one of those ones where, like, could I have asked and found out more? And, you know, yes, I could have. But I just felt it was none of my business.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Know,
but
so...
what I'm sort of saying is the way that Impact are handling it this time seems a lot. You know, it's good that we're getting that news out instead of it being part of the pay-per-view, you know, especially with it being the main event and being such a big deal as well.
Yeah, agreed.
So, yeah, man. Good work, Impact. Did Adam Pearce come out? Yeah, he's signed a contract, but all contracts are subject to change, so he's putting Kevin Owens on it. It didn't really make any sense.
It was just a vehicle. To get to. It was just a vehicle to get to doing. You know, why would Roman Reigns sign a contract for Kevin Owens? The thing is, it's still flawed because anyone who's signed any type of contract knows that when the terms and when the terms of the contract are changed, you have the right to dispute and refuse them.
Absolutely.
I've used it as a way to get out of a Sky contract in the past.
There we go.
So, you know, it's which is a very difficult thing to do most of the time if you're still within that years, and understandably.
So what you're saying, Dan, is by booking logic next week, Roman Reigns should have his attorney.
Yeah, but although, you know, I think Heyman's kind of got that Giuliani thing going.
It certainly does, man. It certainly does.
Yeah, so, you know, so I understand why they did it. The idea was that, you know, why would Roman sign a contract to fight Kevin Owens? And, you know, I understand their logic is that he wouldn't, so we'll do it this way. And it also takes up, you know, time to getting us close to the Rumble without us having to have interactions between Kevin Owens and
Reigns every week.
Roman Reigns every week. You know, they want to take it away so that it feels a bit fresher and build it up and make it mean something. But you know, there are flaws still, so maybe, you know, just don't think too hard about.
I think they could have done the tag match at this one. Had it Jey Uso, Adam Pearce, and Kevin Owens. That could have been, and then have Kevin Owens do the thing in the match where he Adam Pearce doesn't need to enter the ring. Do you know what I mean?
I think at some point, you know, because of what they've done, they're going to need to follow up with Adam Pearce doing something.
They
physical.
are, aren't they? Yeah, they are.
Whether it be getting his ass kicked or he gets a spot in, or what, I don't know. But I think they've kind of set it up where something has to happen.
There we go. Dan, if you're right, if your intentions are not to watch women wrestling, go get yourself a girlfriend and stop being a pervert. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pain is temporary, wrestling is forever. That's my point of view from most forms of bumps. You got to be kidding me. That signing was a waste of my life. Yeah, it was. The mic botch, the sound. Come on, WWE. I mean, they're a multi-million-dollar company. I work in entertainment, and even on our low-scale sort of stuff, I'd get a bollocking for that at work.
Oh, God, same on the indie wrestling scene. Like, I would lose my fucking nut.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But at the same time, sometimes, electrics, they're not your best friend.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
If it was a regular occurrence throughout the show and they didn't fix it,
yeah,
okay, problem. But it just happened. There's no one, they're going to be more frustrated about it than we are.
Ryan says, I think that's why the cameraman got closer. It was probably, obviously, the cameramen will have headsets on, and it was probably a call from Kevin Dunn. We've lost his mic. Get closer so we can use the camera.
So we can, great call. Yeah, good point there, Ryan.
Yeah, well spotted, man. It'll be a hog pen match. Jesus, let's hope not. Millie Carden, Dan, it's like
I would be all up for that. Just
would
for
you?
the shits and giggles.
Would you? Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. Roman Reigns in a hog pen match? Go on. I will put it on Skybox Office and I will pay for it.
You
Just
do what? You pay
ridiculous.
for a pay-per-view, Jesus. Dan, it's like you said during the Chris Wolf retirement show about how Eve has the best wrestlers. Doesn't matter that the women. That's great. That's a wonderful point. And point. It's a point that you made, Dan, that Millie's now saying about Dan, which I'm agreeing with both of you. She lives in my house. It's okay. That's okay.
About... So you're a swear jar as well.
She's a swear jar. There we go. Jake is excited about Nipples game. And read the comments. I am, Ivan. I'm not going to get to all of them tonight, I'm afraid, dude. And you did very well with the language, Dan, says Millie. Millie obviously knows you better.
She's had the streams where I do swear a bit.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I think it's been fine. I'm the king of
saw
Mexican.
Ryan said, "Yeah, this is Dan at a tame level." Yeah, it really is. This is Dan really trying.
I know from the precursor, but you also know that I've not got the best tongue. She also walks through Hull City Centre when we can. Well, if you walk through Hull City Centre, yeah, you are going to hear everything. Yes, this is Dan at a tame level. Progress under the previous management weren't that good and were incredibly pretentious. Oh, you could talk a little bit about Progress, can you? No?
I mean...
That's a no.
I have had times where I got on with them.
Yeah.
And I've had times where I told them where to go.
Yeah.
It just is... Yeah, there's one particular person there who was... I remember meeting him before they had the fame, and was very nice, enthusiastic, nice guy. And then when the fame kind of like notoriety just kind of went to him, and you never heard a good word about him, and you would just, basically.
There we go. A little bit of insight into Progress. He's trying to be politically correct, so which is all cool.
Yeah,
which is all cool.
That's it's not political correct as much as I'm just trying to. The person's gone through a lot recently,
right?
And so I don't want to just turn. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
They might be a different person now.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was certainly the word. I'm not going to disagree with the word that was used there to describe, because that. You weren't the only one. Pretty much the entire locker room said the same thing.
There we go. And who do you got for Hard to Kill? I got the Motor City Machine Guns. And, well, they're not wrestling. Well, one of them is, but they've been taken out. And do an interview with Diego del Solo. I will ask him if he would do a cameo. Cool. We sort of get given the interviews by the companies, so we can sometimes ask. But who have I got for Hard to Kill in the main event? I'd say Kenny's winning. Got it?
It would be incredibly daft for them to take the momentum away from Kenny and the Good Brothers right now.
But then that I hated that match on AEW, Dan.
Did you really?
I hated it. I hated
Oh,
it.
I had no problems with it. It was
Did you not?
no, I had no problems with it. The match was what it was. It was a backdrop for a larger story while also using the time to show the abilities of Garrison, Danny, I forget the guy's surname, and Brian Pillman Jr., who I really like. I think
Is
Brian
it
Pillman Jr.'s got a really bright
Luminous?
future. I can't remember. I'll agree with you.
My issue with it was it felt like they were putting over the guys way too much, man.
What do you mean? Putting over the youngsters?
Yeah.
I had no problem with that.
No, I did.
Because here's the thing, right? What AEW are very good at most of the time is for making you understand that if you're in AEW, you have to be a certain kind of talent, and it's not like with WWE. I think that's because of the WWE mentality that instantly comes to our mind, and a lot of that I put down to the repetition. Mm-hmm. We've seen the same pattern and story told on WWE, and remember, for a lot of years we've only had WWE on our TV screens.
Yeah,
that we're used to it being done a certain way. So when something's done differently, we think, well, hold on, it makes sense to do it this way. And you're not necessarily wrong that it does make sense to do it that way, but it also doesn't mean that it has to be done that way. And it might just be that over time we'll begin to, more accept that, hey, there's not necessarily no easy match. There are some matches that are going to be considerably harder than others. But, if you're going to work for this company, you have to be of a certain level.
A certain talent level.
Yeah. I completely understand the logic in what you said. And if they'd have done it that way, I wouldn't disagree with the logic, but I would have felt bad that it minimized and took it, because I don't feel that doing that would have elevated Kenny and the Good Brothers as much as, because they've just beaten 3 youngsters. But I certainly feel that it would have demoted the other three, in particular, Garrison and Brian Pillman.
Yeah.
And they can have a decent future, as a tag team in that tag division, and have some cracking matches with FTR and a number of the other tag teams there. So that's more of where I have an issue. Whereas having this match, it was still 100% a decisive win, but we got to see that the other 3 are talented.
Yeah, for me, the thing that was missing is a match with them 3, especially that they debuted someone, a match with them 3 versus Jurassic Express, whoever, I don't care, on Dynamite 3 weeks ago. And so that you have them built up a little bit to then... Yeah,
but this is a very long-term feud and story and program. I think, and again, I think that's part of it, is when we think about how WWE do things, it feels like they jump to things a lot quicker. And I think that with this it's going to be a slow build to getting towards things like that. Like, they have to think of the logic of things like, so they can't really have Kenny and the Good Brothers just destroy the whole thing straight away, because, we've got Kenny is one of the management members, as are the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
So you got to think about, well, what does that do from him at a management level, destroying all of this? How does it, there's long-term relationship developments to get through, in my opinion.
No, that's fine. And I slightly disagree with it, but that's what we do here. We're just 2 people having an opinion, a chat. That's cool. I think AJ is only a bit of a flat earther, but plays up for the heat. Maybe so. I don't know.
I think it's the other way around.
Oh, really?
I think he's more of a flat earther, and he plays it down because he's encouraged to.
And Dom's favorite vampire is $25 for a cameo. Dom,
and to be honest with you, any person that is a flat earther, even considering it, there is issues there. It's one of those things where it's like, it's such an ego, isn't it, to think that as an unqualified, uneducated person in a subject, you automatically know better and therefore assume that there's a big conspiracy. It's like, come on.
Dan, AJ's going to win the title soon. His turn will come around again. Thank you. off the top of my head. That was infuriating, and I didn't even watch it. That's Tamina's entire WWE career has been based off being someone else's bodyguard sidekick. Yeah, it has, hasn't it? Absolutely, great point.
By the way, who's your favourite vampire? I assume you mean Gangrel. Gangrel wouldn't charge $25 for a cameo. Who is it?
I think he would. 25.
Really?
Yeah, they take so much commission as well, cameo. So 25 sounds about right for Gangrel. Yeah,
I know Gangrel. So I was surprised that he would do it for $25. Because he spends most of it. Again, he's another one that spent him and Luna.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of their career over here because of work in the camps. Like I was telling the story yesterday. So.
There we go. Yeah. Ask him if he's. Sorry, I've worked a little bit with Gangrel in the past as well.
Of course you would have. You'd have at the venue. I assume,
with Brian.
Brian. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Ask him if he works with Sammy C from Impact or any AEW wrestlers. Dan's worked with loads of wrestlers. I don't know about Sami Callihan.
Yeah, Sami Callihan's worked for me.
There you go.
Did a wicked match. I believe it's on Eve on Demand. Him and Trent Seven.
Oh, wow.
Incredible match.
That sounds awesome.
Match that we did. Yeah. They stole that show, in my opinion. And that was a show that also had Paul London on and just freaking... that was a loaded show. But Callahan and Trent Seven...
Was that XWA?
Yeah, XWA. Yeah, so that was my, predominantly normal... I guess, in that it was a predominantly male wrestling brand, except for when I'd have XWA, which would be my predominantly male brand. I'd have Eve, which was an all-female brand. And I would also do the equal fight shows, which was XWA wrestlers versus Eve wrestlers, and it would be 4 XWA versus Eve matches, 1 whole XWA match, 1 whole Eve match.
Right, that's nice.
Kind of do that. And before that, I was... one of the people running a company called FWA back in the day as well. So,
and then for those of you that are concerned about intergender matches and what that could mean for the industry, or what that is, in fact, please check out some of their stuff. Check out Eve's channel, because they show you how it's really done well, and how two people can. We watched it last night with Dan. It can be done incredibly well.
It can also be done in a completely... I remember there was a lot of controversy over doing intergender wrestling, and BBC actually did a piece and trying to make us out like I was this evil person for doing intergender wrestling.
Right.
And they actually went to the venue, and the venue actually phoned me, and they were like, "Look, we're getting a lot of heat for you doing this.
Really?
Can we? Yeah, no. They were like, can we just pay you the money for the show and you just cancel the show?"
Oh, no way, man.
And I was just like, you do realize that, how much a show costs, right?
Right.
And then I told them how much the show was costing, because they were like, what, you have to pay everyone? Like, yeah. And I was like, and I've also had to fly these people over and all sorts. But anyway, so to point out the ridiculousness of the intergender match, their view on it, I did alpha female, Jazzy Gabert, versus... he wasn't this at the time, but Drake Maverick.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So
I
did the exact opposite. So you had this giant woman and this small man.
Jazzy Gabert was with Ginny in NXT
Is this
UK.
Violence on women, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
interesting, man.
And we just had Jazzy just...
destroy him.
Yeah, including powerbombed him through a table.
There you go. Interesting stuff,
and just the size different. And the thing was, as Spud came out, that's Jay's name at the time, Drake Maverick's name at the time.
Yeah,
he comes out
Spud.
and he does this standard, it's not an incredible, promo as far as the, originality, but it's your standard promo about women's wrestling and what women should be doing. It's very sad that right now that there's a woman wrestler in the back, and somewhere in the world there's a man with no dinner. That kind of BS. But it's for this audience, because that's where they're. Do you know what I mean? That's for a number of the people that were there, because they were members of the council. The members of the council actually came down, and their plan was to shut the show down if it got too much.
Oh, really? Because of the heat from the BBC?
Really?
Right.
We had reporters in there that they were really putting the pressure on to shut the show down.
Jesus.
And so, and the next thing you know, you got Spud doing this promo about this and that, and how, women shouldn't be wrestling and everything. And then all of a sudden out comes Alpha Female. And now all of a sudden they look like idiots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they
yeah.
feel like it. And all of a sudden there was no story on us anymore. We weren't
No.
the bad guy. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because what does that tell you?
There is absolutely a way to present it, man. Absolutely. And, you know, two incredible talents, Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano. Their matches were great. Like, really great.
Yeah. Candice can work.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And get Chris Van Vliet for a cameo. We've got Chris Van Vliet as an interview. Chris Van Vliet is a really great interviewer on YouTube.
Right, cool.
One of the best on YouTube, man. We've got an interview with him on the channel as well.
Nice.
Millie Carden says, going back to the terrible booking of women's tag team championships. Next week starts the first ever women's Dusty Cup.
I got more hope for that being on what brand it is than if it was on Raw or something.
Did they have to do a Dusty Cup? Couldn't they have found a
Well,
woman,
I think it's just. I've got no. I mean, I assume the thing was Dusty really worked with a lot of the girls. I know a lot of the girls that will, you know, if you say something bad against Dusty, they'll rip your head off.
Yeah.
Like, he really looked after a number of them there. So I think it probably means a lot to the women there. To be honest with you,
to the performers as opposed to
yeah,
maybe so, man. Yeah. Hey, Trump's not paying Giuliani's business fees. I don't know, man. I'm going to go through a couple of these because we need to do a nipple game before we go. A like train, if you could like the video, it really helps us out. I'm just going to skip through a few of these. Not going to say who either, but I don't know others who felt the same way. That'll be about progress. Balto Rhodes, I hit the like button. Thank you and welcome. This is Eve. Please subscribe to them as well, dude. The wonderful channel. The IC title is flatter now. Is that a dig at AJ? Very good. Gangrel, he's on, yeah, we know that. Yeah, he's 1875. There you go.
It's a bargain.
There you go.
Gangrel's the man.
Bargain. Trent Seven and Sammy at Colchester.
Yeah, that's right.
There we go, man. Danny, maybe, but we will all win. That's about the Nips game. I can just imagine you two staring at wrestlers' bare chests all day. They probably would. Well, that's what the Nips game is. You guys are just, calm down about the bloody Nips game. My problem with intergender, this is Jake's point of view on intergender wrestling. My problem with intergender wrestling, as in sanctioned matches between two different genders, is in MMA. That would never happen. So it kind of makes wrestling look a bit fake and unrealistic.
So I've got a comeback for that.
Cool.
The difference is, that is the destruction of professional wrestling's presentation. Because if you present, number one, I just gave an example there of, Alpha Female, Jazzy Gabera and Spud, which kind of, therefore laughs in the face in a lot of people's criticisms of it. But I also realized that's an extreme example. Mm-hmm. I think Rey Mysterio versus the Big Show is just as problematic as what you're saying, because in MMA, of course, you have weight divisions. And indeed, in old school wrestling, there were many more championships, especially over here, because the idea is it was presented as a sport. So, you rarely saw a catchweight match. It was always, we didn't have cruiserweight, but we had featherweight, bantamweight, welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight. Do you know what I mean? There was multiple weight divisions in wrestling. If you follow the rules of professional wrestling, for starters, punches wouldn't be allowed. Mm-hmm. Strikes wouldn't be allowed on a downed opponent. So it's all about the presentation of the match. Now, the bastardization of the wrestling rules and the punches, to me, whenever you see that in wrestling, instantly throws out any kind of legitimacy and believability in what you are seeing, because most of us have been in a fight, know that if you get punched in the face, you're not just going to go, it's not how it works.
No.
And if you do punch someone and that's their response, and then you punch them again, and that is their response, because most of the time it's 3 punches. As we all know, 3 is the magic number in wrestling when doing stuff. Yep. It is, if I punch someone 3 times as hard as I can,
they're staying down,
and they just feed their head back for me to do it again, I'm going the opposite direction.
Yeah.
You take, and this is why I'm a big believer in forearms, because you don't really throw a forearm in a fight. You know, like you'll throw a punch, you'll throw an elbow, or whatever, your headbutt, but you don't really throw a forearm. So most people don't know what a forearm in a fight really feels like. So you've got so it's all based on what it is that you tell them a forearm in a fight, because that's what wrestling is. You know, doing things that you wouldn't normally do, and so the audience there have no emotional connection to that other than what you tell them it feels like, what you tell them, you know, you're doing there. And so following the rules of professional wrestling, as professional wrestling is supposed to be, it is more than about the skill. So long as you're presenting it in a believable format. And most of wrestling, sadly, because of the bastardization of wrestling rules, isn't presented in a number of ways. Now, I'm not trying to get on a Jim Cornette soapbox here.
No.
You know, wrestling needs to evolve and change with the times. But my point is, it all comes down to the presentation. And that was one of the things, because, you know, Doug Williams got a load of heat on Twitter. Of course, it's going to be on Twitter. All right. Because he worked a match against Charlie Morgan on our show. And Doug's response was, look, what we do is art. Wrestling is an art form, and wrestling is also, you know, wrestling is an art form of a sport. It's not a sport, but it's like the Dream Team, you know, thing that used to be on Sky One years ago, which was it was a drama, a soap opera about a football team. Yeah. You know, and, you know, wrestling is the same. It's, you know, it's set in the world of professional wrestling. And, you know, and his point was, let us tell you our story. And, you know, because the way we tell it will be logical. And that's what it comes down to. It comes down to how you present it. If I'd have done it the other way round, let's say it wasn't, if Jey had been the same size, had been the size of Alpha, and Alpha had been the size of Jey, that's different. That looks ridiculous, you know.
Brock Lesnar's not going to go against Liv Morgan.
Exactly. So don't do it, you know. But you don't do it. That's the way you simply get around that. And so, like I say, on the MMA side, the knees and the punches, and well, you shouldn't be doing that in wrestling anyway. No. On the sports side of wrestling when you're telling that story. So, yeah.
It's all good, and that's not to say that you're wrong, Jake. That's just to say, like, here's an opinion. Here's a different opinion. That is my counterpoint. There we go. That's a counterpoint. That's all it is.
In no way invalidates anybody else's view.
Absolutely not.
To cause any arguments.
No. And Jake knows that. But I just want to sort of also say that I understand Jake's point of view as well. I understand both point of views, and I've got my own views on it. You know, as we all should. And discuss that. That's what we're here for. Millie Carden's gone off on one. She said, intergender wrestling is awesome, like Charlie Morgan versus Ophidian, which we watched last night on Eve's live stream, which was absolutely brilliant. Keith Lee versus Mai Yim. I've not seen that, Millie.
Dan? I didn't know. Have they done that?
I didn't know.
I don't know.
I thought you was going to say yes, we've got that on Eve, but no, that sounds freaking cool.
I know Mia wants to do that match, but most you know, couples tend to want to work each other.
There we go, man. There we go. Cool. Did you do funny trivia tonight? Excuse me, we're going to do Nips Game in a minute. Kobe Talks have joined us. Hey, man, how are you doing? Thank you so much. This is the promoter for Eve XWA. Worked with Keith Lee, several dudes, Cesaro. We've had some really good chats actually. This has been a really great stream, Dan, and I'm gonna leave it there. We're gonna do the Nips Game. I'm gonna set it up, but yeah. Anything you want to add before we play some nipples?
No, just if you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and ring that bell.
Oh, dude, you're putting over at my channel. You rock. Ring the ring bell. Like this was the natural progression for us, wasn't it? Like we've been in communication for a little while, and it's been really fun.
Yeah, it's been cool, man. We got through an episode of Smackdown quite quickly.
Absolutely, because we're talking, we're having fun, we're watching this with people,
interacting with everyone in the chat, which makes wrestling a lot easier.
Certainly does, man. So thank you all for joining us. I hope you had a good show, and please show your appreciation to Dan. Let people know. I wish I'd have shaved
my head before I come on. Christ Almighty, that fucking light above my head right now is doing me no favors. Jesus,
shiny.
It is, isn't it? Right?
Cool.
Just showing just how little hair there is there. It's like...
I'll be like that one day, Dan. One day. I am receding, man.
It happened to me literally. My daughter was born, and it was just like. Poof,
that'll teach you for having kids.
Right? Tell me about it.
Rock and roll. So the first wrestler is going to come up on screen in a second. This should be an easy one. This is going to be for a love poem from me. So whoever wins this will get a love poem from me, and then the second one is going to get a love poem from Dan. So there is your first wrestler. Dan, are you excited for your love poem, mate?
I'm thrilled.
What the F is going on? So let's see if people can get who that is. It's pretty easy. Who's going to be my second one? Can you see it yet, Dan?
No, I can't see it now.
No, I can't hear now.
Hold on. But saying that, I've got our stream up, not...
Yeah, it'll be on the stream, yeah.
Oh, it'll be on a stream, okay.
Yeah. Pretty easy. Kobe talks. I think he's the first to get it. Straight away in there with Baron Corbin. Ruining...
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to get it.
You weren't going to get it? No?
No, I wasn't going to get it.
There we go.
I had no
Straight
idea.
away, man. That's because he's got X-Pac heat with you, man.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not watching him. That's the thing. He comes on the screen, I'm like, fuck.
You see, but you recognise nipples that you watch a lot,
well,
you see.
this thing, like, I looked at it and I was like, right, this is someone that doesn't have a particularly defined body. So I was just running it through my head. Who doesn't? So I might have come to Corbin in the end, but...
Well played, Kobe. You are getting a love poem from me, my dear, and
that's young Baron Corbin as well. Look at him.
It was young
With
Baron
hair.
Corbin with hair and everything. He wasn't that young. It was only a couple of years ago. And who else are we going to have? We've got to make it a little bit harder for this one. Millie, sorry, I hadn't explained the Roast to Nips game. Just guess whose nipples they are in chat. Full name only. It's pretty easy. You can win a love poem from Dan. Like Dan of the wrestling promoter for Bloody Eve Wrestling, a freaking love poem that he's going to write, and he's rolling his eyes. I did ask him if it was all right before the show, which I didn't.
He did ask me. It's my fault for not realising that it meant I was doing one as well.
Too right you are, man.
Yeah,
too right you
right.
are.
It's
Welcome to the podcast.
I've only seen you do it when it was you on the stream by yourself. So
have you? Mate, no. This is our induction. This is what people love us for as well. Like the content shit. It's let's see. Full names only. Yeah, sorry, we do have full names only rule. So Kobe didn't get it. Sorry, full names only. But now I've fucked up. Kobe and Crazy Ginger win it. Well done. I'll give you both a love poem. It was Keith Lee's last match with Beyond before coming to NXT, says Millie. That's for the Zaya, Mayhem and Keith Lee match.
I was saying, is that Christian?
No.
Oh, Christ.
How the hell are you going to give yourself a love poem? Let the people guess.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think somebody had already guessed, so I was just like...
Or did you think if you got it right, you get out of it? Banging. I love it. No, someone has already got it, so you can all stop guessing. And this time it is definitely my dude, Kobe Talks, by himself. It's a man that we've been watching tonight. It's a man whose Dan's wife has seen more of than she'd like. It was, of course, Cesaro.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
This is what we're talking about. It's alarming how much we know about other people's nipples.
I thought about it and I was like, this just makes sense because it's just that out there and weird.
Shouldn't know this much about another person's nipples unless you subscribe to their OnlyFans. That is literally like crazy. The bizarre and daftness of professional wrestling.
Absolutely, and that's what we're all here for. Don't forget to go subscribe to our only ants.dom, which is the play on my name and Dom's name, just so you can laugh. Nope, not getting anything.
So I can't see anything on screen if there was another one.
No. It was only ants.dom.
Oh, sorry. No, I was literally just thinking, what the fuck am I going to do for this poem?
Oh, bless you, Dan. I put you in a really difficult position. Cool. So this is a love poem.
I am not.
Neither am I, mate. But what I like to do is come up with wholly original poems. And so Kobe, I'll go first. This is for Kobe and Jake, who both won. This is a poem I'm going to call Friends. So no one told you life was going to be this way. Your job's a joke. You're broke. Your love life's D-J. O-A. It's like you're always stuck in second gear when it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. But I'll be there for you. Wow. It took me a while to write that, Dan. What do you think?
It was beautiful.
Have you got the gimmick? I think you've just got the gimmick now. A number one? I don't think it'd be number one. Was it?
I think you could achieve some serious primetime success.
There we go. That's a better one, man. Well played. Are you got your poem ready to go?
Who am I doing a promo? I'm doing a promo, apparently. You can tell how often I even say the word poem is that my brain goes, it's a word that begins with P. It must be promo, clearly.
It must be pint. It is.
Who am I promo poeming on?
It is my dude Kobe Talks, who also has a wrestling YouTube channel. He delivers 5-minute reviews, which are intense and have as much swearing as you would enjoy, Dan. So go check
Where's
him out.
Where's Kobe from?
Kobe is from up my end. I can't remember the exact place, but he's not in Hull, but he's East Yorkshire, I think. I'm pretty sure. Might be Grimsby. Might be. Let us know, Kobe.
What? Where? What?
Might be Grimsby.
Somewhere near Hull.
Yeah.
Okay. I have something inspired by you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
From somewhere near Hull, born and raised, possibly in a playground, young Colby spent some of his days. Something else in the line that goes here that I can't remember, even though I haven't drunk any beers. I've decided to rhyme. Fuck it, why not? Oh, fuck, I swore. Shit.
That was perfect.
Shooting some b-ball, possibly, whilst he was in school, because why not?
Dude.
When a couple of people who are up to no good started making trouble within his personal space.
Whoa.
I know.
Invasion.
He got in one little scuffle and his aunt got scared. She said, "You're fucking off back home to your mum's house now." That's it. That's all I got. Sorry,
that was wholly original. Absolutely. Bianca Belair would probably be a massive fan of that poem. Friends is a classic, Kobe says. I don't know what you're on about. I've never seen Friends. I got 5 Nips games right in a row. It has now come to an end, sadly, but I went 5-0 with the first 4 guesses. Kobe Talk says, very good poem. Thank you for the lovely poem. You're welcome, Jake. That's it. We're getting out of here. Well done, Dan. Thanks very much, man.
Thanks for having us, man. That was good fun.
That was a good laugh on it.
Apologies to everyone. I was chatting so much that sometimes didn't get into the chat there, and that's very naughty of me.
It's all good. I think it's been great hearing your stories, and please support Dan. And I think this. I'd probably watch this back, actually. I think hearing your stories has been outstanding. But we are going to go now.
Of course. This is a stream that isn't deleted afterwards, is it? Oh, crumbs.
No, not like yours. Oh, shit, he says. Yeah, you can rewatch that poem.
Yeah. I always forget about it, because I delete my stream straight afterwards. So I'm just like, no evidence I said anything.
Mate, you just delivered a love poem to Kobe.
I did, right? That is out there on the internet now for everyone to see.
Forever.
Thankfully, enough was changed for me to not get any cease and desists. And thankfully, it wasn't a WWE theme song. Because I've had enough of them from them.
No, copyright strikes? Oh dear.
No, cease and desist from WWE.
Complete cease and desist. Jesus.
Yeah.
That sounds like a story for another time.
That'll be another time.
Dudes, thanks, Dan. Been wicked talking to you. We're going to do a countdown from 5, and then everyone's going to say "Hull yeah" in chat. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hull yeah.
This is Big E from the new day. Give me that whole yeah. Give it to me. I need it.
So you live down south, Dan?
I do.
Have you always lived down south?
Well, in south kind of. I'm in East Anglia, which for some reason East Anglia, no one really knows where it is. You know, like, and it's kind of like it's kind of down south and it's kind of east, but it's neither or.
Is it near Portsmouth?
Nowhere near Portsmouth.
That's how much I know where
very
East
much
Anglia is.
south if I was down at Portsmouth. We did. Emily did live in Portsmouth for a little bit because she was training to be a wrestler down at the FWA school back in that day, which is how we met. So I was staying in Portsmouth for a while, but
nice.
I got out. Portsmouth is the weirdest place. There was a bike, as the crime was incredible during this point. I saw someone try to pick a bunch of fights with a load of cars.
Jesus.
That was going on outside Emily's flat one
Fight
day.
with cars, yeah.
Tremendous entertainment, but then I felt very guilty for watching it. But also, someone had changed their bike up, so they were clearly getting bike into the train station and then going to work. And they'd chained their bike up, and evidently they'd come back and like the wheels were taken, so they'd got, or a wheel was taken or something. So they'd evidently gone, well, fuck it, it's no good to me, and they've left it there. And every day there'd be another part of the bike gone.
Really?
So
just one piece at a time?
Two wheels gone. The next day there was the seat was gone.
They probably needed different tools, man.
It was just... It's like it just reminded me of that Simpsons episode where they wanted to get rid of the trampoline, and Bart's just like, the best way to get rid of it is to, a bike lock. And they turn around and they look back, and someone's trying to steal it.
And it's gone.
Yeah.
Dan, you when you go on a story, you absolutely go on a story. I love it. I don't have to talk. So you're a lad down south. Sunday dinner, Yorkshire pudding.
Oh fuck yeah.
Gotta have Yorkshire pudding. I didn't know if people did it outside of Yorkshire.
I rarely have Sunday dinners.
What?
But when I do,
what?
When I do have dinner on a Sunday.
Okay.
But like they're very rarely your standard Sunday dinners. Like that's just not really kind of like. I don't have that time. I'm amazed I did this.
What the fuck do you have? What the fuck do you have on a Sunday then?
Whatever. It's just another day, sadly. I wish I had to do. I love a Sunday dinner. Make it clear. Like, if we go to my mum's, then my mum will absolutely make a hell of a dinner for all of us. It'll be the best that we eat.
Yeah.
For
weeks.
Oh God, yeah, without a doubt. There'll be freaking Yorkshire puds. There'll be sweet potatoes, roast potatoes, mashed potatoes, whatever kind of potatoes you want. Do you know what I mean? It's literally a case of whatever you'd like. But here at home it's usually like pasta, rice, or something, and do you know what I mean? We live a very glamorous life.
Well, pasta and rice on a Sunday.
No, not together. I'd be pasta.
Pasta and rice in a combination.
I bloody love a good curry. Adore a good curry.
I'm not a massive curry eater. When I was younger, I never liked spicy food, and I've learned to realise curry's not spicy; it's flavoured. But do you know when you get shit curries and they're just?
Yeah, I do. There was a fucking place down here. I shit you not. I found like a rat's carcass, like the bones.
What?
In it? Yeah.
And on that note, Dan, thanks for ruining everyone's sleep. Enjoy that. We are going to go and raid the Wrestle Story. I am putting their link in the description right now. Come and join us and say hello to Minnie M and her father. Rock and roll, thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Bye.
This is Big E from the New Day. Give me that hole, yeah. Give it to me. I need it.